more to deal with, so much more pressure, so much more, expectations on their shoulders. They can't be worried about whether Manny threw a ball at Dave Roberts. And you know what? Now that Dave Roberts has cried about it so much, I kind of hope Manny did throw it at him, right?
Yeah.
Too bad he missed him.
Yeah,
Too bad he missed him, as far as I'm concerned. But
Dave Roberts' light flashed before his eyes, Chris.
Yeah, I guess so. The ball must have been rolled in there at 8 miles per hour.
I will say this,
bouncing past him. Come on.
I will say this: it wasn't a soft throw, but it wasn't a malicious throw.
It doesn't really matter. What matters is the Padres going out tonight and playing the way they did in Game 2 and not playing the way they did in Game 1, frankly. The Padres did not play their game in Game 1. Too many walks, wild pitches, errors, a couple of plays not made. Dodgers turned that into 7 runs. And the Padres didn't come up with, some big hits late in the ball game, couldn't pull it out. Game 2, the Padres were taking runs off the board. Right? Jerks and Profar absolutely took a run off the board. Fernando Tatis stopped a rally before it started with a catch in right field. Luis Arraez made 2 great plays over at first base, not even known for his defense. That, and of course Darvish. I mean, look, Darvish pitched a masterpiece the other night, but it's going to come down to playing well. And I can't believe the Dodgers are worried about all this other stuff, and that's all anybody's talking about. And to add to, I don't know if you call it intrigue of Game 3 tonight, but now you have Ken Rosenthal, who is the dugout sideline reporter for Fox, writing an article in The Athletic today just destroying the Padres. Manny Machado, Jerks and Profar, Fernando Tatis, they're crybabies, they're irritants, they're trying to get something started. Look, do we have to let Ken Rosenthal into the Padre dugout tonight to do in-game interviews? I mean, look, you can root for whoever you want to, but don't try to present the fact that you're doing an honest job as a broadcaster after you've written an article like that, trashing the team you have to cover tonight.
There's so many things with Ken Rosenthal, because I've defended Ken Rosenthal.
I'm going to step out of the way now. Scraby's going to take over for about a half an hour because he's really cranky about this.
Well, there was about a 10-page article released this morning, and it seemed like a lot of that was already drafted, waiting to release, because Ken Rosenthal in the past has not been a fan of what the Padres do. He calls it antics. He calls it irritants. And I think you're 100% right. I don't think Fox should let him be the reporter for the game. And I'm not trying to be dramatic. He is showing that he cannot be unbiased when he's reporting on the game. Do you think Manny Machado is going to see Ken Rosenthal in the dugout tonight and be like, let me walk right up to you and give an interview?
Yeah, see how you're doing.
Zero shot in that.
Just basically, Ken Rosenthal in his article called Manny Machado, Jerks and Profar, and Fernando Tatis classless ball players. That's basically what he wrote. And if I'm Manny Machado or Profar or Tatis or any Padre for that matter, this guy comes up to me for an interview. I'm like, get out of here.
And not to mention,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
This isn't time. I mean, show a little professionalism out there. Again, this doesn't have anything to do with the game, and I wish we weren't talking about it, but, this is what people focus on. Joe Davis is the Dodger broadcaster. You spent all day upset yesterday that Ohtani's getting too much coverage. I tried to talk you off the ledge and remind you that Ohtani is what he is.
Chris,
there's not a lot we can do about it.
He's up to bat in 4 hours from right now. 4 hours and 1 minute.
4 hours and 1 minute. Ohtani will step. The Fox just ran a graphic.
Yes.
During Days of Our Lives, I think.
You know what's really funny? I've seen a lot of pictures on social media of the Ohtani graphic, and it was someone giving birth, and it was on their heart monitor.
Well, look.
So do you know Ohtani is batting in 4 hours?
Let me tell you something. I know you don't want me to compare to basketball, but for at least 10 years, every fan that wasn't a Chicago Bull fan hated the way they covered Michael Jordan. But Ohtani is that right now, so let him be that. The bottom line is, put him out of his misery, put the Dodgers out of their misery, win tonight, win tomorrow, and let's move on.
I also seem to remember a pretty large story at the beginning of the year involving the most famous baseball player in the world right now, Shohei Ohtani. I don't remember the same reaction from reporters when Shohei Ohtani was cleared in like 2 weeks from any wrongdoing, and his interpreter was sentenced to prison. Like, it really is biased reporting to me, and I don't know why they would do that, but it seems that way. And Shohei Ohtani was a part of a big controversy this year, and it's like it never happened. I don't get it.
I don't really know what he did wrong, but that's all right. If you want to lean on that, go ahead.
I will tell you what he did wrong.
What did he do? He had an interpreter who stole money from him and betted on games.
I don't want to go down this road.
Yeah, let's not go down this road. We got too many important things to do. We're going to be here for 3 hours. Look, Mike Shildt spoke to the media just a little while ago. Jackson Merrill is talking to the media right now. We're going to play you a little of what Mike Shildt said in just a couple seconds here, but also in our next segment, we're going to hear what Jackson Merrill has to say coming into Game 2. And frankly, what Jackson Merrill has to say coming into Game 2 means a whole hell of a lot more than anything you or I have to say heading into Game 3. Right,
yes.
I did Game 3, thank you.
Game 2 is when all the controversy happened, so it's stuck in
my mind. It's stuck on Game 2. But, Dave Roberts, for whatever reason, has tried to turn this into a woe is us and try to, look, Rosenthal wrote that the Padres are villains. They want to be villains. Dave Roberts said that the Padres want to be villains. The Padres just want to be world champs, I think.
And that's what they're
I really
doing.
don't think they want to care about any of the rest of that stuff. But here was what Mike Shildt said in response to Dave Roberts' comments earlier today.
I know you're not a big consumer of media, but you probably have seen the last day. Dave Roberts had some comments about Manny. I wonder what you thought of both the situation and Dave's comments.
Well, I come from maybe a just different philosophy of dealing with this. I couldn't help but have people share them with me, so I'm aware of them. Listen, I got into this game to help players get the most out of their God-given ability and to compete on the field and respect the opponent. I'm not, nor will I disparage another player on another team, especially anybody I've managed in the past, nor will I do it to a collective team. So just not how I want to operate. I got a lot of respect for their club, the players on their club. As far as Manny goes, it's unfortunate that people can't, move on from things from the past. I thought Manny's exhibition of professionalism and leadership were on display the other night in a very tough environment. He nor I or anyone will profess to be perfect, but Manny has made some strides that are very impressive both on and off the field. It's been a privilege to witness that. It's representative of him being our rightful Roberto Clemente nominee award winner, and I expect him to win it. I get the privilege of seeing him along with our players behind the scenes do some really special things for young people, our community, but people have their right clearly to share what they want and how they want to share it. As far as the comments about the team, again, privilege keeps coming up in my head. It's beyond a privilege. I've been doing this for 30 plus years. We all have our transgressions that we have. None of us are perfect, but I can speak to the heart of caring about people and players, and been with teams for a long time that represent themselves with class and dignity. And I don't have to defend this team. This team does not need my defense, nor do our players need to defend themselves. Very tough environment the other evening. Thought they handled themselves exceptionally well. They had the right to defend themselves, but they also were able to stay focused and participate. And, oh, by the way, we play a baseball game. And so, again, our club doesn't need to be defended. I love the joy that our club brings. I love the enthusiasm they bring. I love the freedom that they play with. And, again, I love their heart for our community and our organization, and that's as far as I'll go.
Mike, do you believe in any way that Manny was trying to hit Dave Roberts? And are you
Zero.
surprised this has escalated to the way it has?
I don't think there was. I mean, listen, No, I don't. That's to answer it. I don't want to cast stones. I mean, I'm just not. So the answer to your question is no. I don't think there's any intent at all with that.
Barry,
And he's
second.
got exceptional arm talent. I think he proved that on the triple play.
Barry, second round.
If Manny wanted to hit Dave Roberts with a throw from about 25 yards away, I bet he could hit him. So.
He probably could, and he could throw it a lot harder, too.
Yeah. Look, Mike Shildt has represented our club the way we want it to be represented. And I think those comments represented our club and our city the way we want to be represented. You want to try to call the Padres unclassy. His answer was far more classy than anything Dave Roberts has had to say the last 24 hours. So,
yeah, he's speaking at 3 p.m.
Yeah,
too,
I
Dave.
just, I'm just trying to place it the way it is. I'm not trying to pick sides, but Dave Roberts is whining, trying to get his ball club stirred up. Mike Shildt is trying to get to a World Series. I think there's a big difference between the two right now. And I kind of like where the Padres are headed, and I hope they back it up tonight, Scrape.
By the way, I kind of like this live audience where we make a good point and people clap for us. This is
yeah,
nice.
four
This is
people.
nice.
Yeah, if you're going to clap, everybody clap. Come
Baja
on.
Ricks Cantina, come down and support us.
Yes, we will
Santo
be.
Tequila will be here for you.
We'll be here until 5 o'clock. The show just getting underway. Game 3. Yes, Chris, Game 3 of this series is coming up tonight. It's a 6 o'clock start. But we'll be on till 5 o'clock. Sam Levitt's pregame show from 5 to 6. Tony Gwynn Jr., of course, he's doing all his pregame work, but he will be joining us at 3:15 after some of these other press conferences are over. He has to prepare for the broadcast, but we'll hear from TG as well.
I cannot. I have restrained myself is the word I was looking for from texting Tony and getting his opinion on this because I knew that he was going to be on the show. But I have to think that Tony is not happy by these comments either. Dave Roberts seems like a manager who is worried about losing another series in the playoffs, and so he is trying to take control of a narrative, and it's not working.
Not working for me.
Or losing his job. Thank you.
And not working for. Do you want her to do the rest of the show,
Yeah, come on.
Scraby, since she's making better points than you are?
Hey.
All right. Hey, let's hear it again, though. It's great to have everybody here. Cheered up. Baja Ricks Cantina right down here in the gas lamp. Just a block from Petco Park. I know there'll be more people coming in over the next few hours, so come on down, say hi, grab some great food, get yourself some Santo Tequila, get yourself geared up for the game tonight. It's Padres Dodgers. It's Game 3. We're getting it all started here. Gwynn and Chris on San Diego's #1 sports talk station, 97.3 The Fan. Be careful. keep coming in here. Baja Ricks Cantina, broadcasting live ahead of Game 3 of the National League Division Series. Crisello, Matt Scraby alongside, and of course Tony Gwynn Jr. is inside Petco Park, which is only a block away. Tony will be joining us in a little bit. We're also going to hear from Jackson Merrill, his comments just a few minutes ago at Petco Park. We'll hear what the superstar rookie had to say heading into Game 3. But before that, just one quick thing on this Ken Rosenthal article, because we talked about everything he wrote in negativity about the Padres. But one other thing he wrote, which I think might be far more important than anything else, he said, at the moment, one thing seems clear. The Padres aren't just a heck of a team. They are also inside the Dodgers' heads.
That's right.
And that's going to be a whole lot more important than anything Dave Roberts is crying about. To me, we'll move on. We'll hear what Tony has to think about it when he comes on later. But, I'd rather talk about this game, the series, this Padre team, and what Mike Shildt said, which is, he doesn't have to apologize for anything this team does. You want to try to create negativity around Jurickson Profar, well, then you've never met Jurickson Profar. I've never seen a guy with a smile on his face more often, more pleasant guy than Profar.
Until he gets between the lines.
Well, he's a game. What do you want him to do? He's
a
gamer. Fernando's the same way, and Manny is too.
There was just him in the outfield robbing Mookie Betts of a home run, then staring down the fan. That wasn't him actually being a jerk. It was him just having fun with the crowd, and they took it a certain way. They took it a certain way, and they didn't like it. Also,
speaking of that home run, Scraby, I don't think this will happen, but is anybody out here at Baja Ricks, if you're sitting in the left field pavilion bleacher, tonight, bring your gloves.
Yes.
Because that Dodger fan out there, if they had a glove, would have caught that ball, and Profar wouldn't have.
Yep.
And it would have been a home run. Let's not make sure that no Dodgers outfielders steal any of our home runs tonight.
I agree with you.
If the ball comes into the stands, it's yours.
It is yours.
It is yours. Now, you can't reach out over.
No.
But once it crosses over that fence, that's our ball. Do not be letting any Dodger outfielders catch any of those.
No.
We're taking those.
Don't create any sort of interference, because then that hurts the Padres. Just wait for it to enter your side of the field, and then you can catch it.
Then you get it. And one last thing, which we said yesterday, I'm going to say today, I'm going to tell everybody here to go inside and tell everybody else, let's be the team that doesn't throw anything on the field tonight. We don't need to do what Dodger fans did in Game 2. All right? We can cheer and yell and scream and get what we want done.
Before we get to Jackson Merrill, I would like to commend Ken Rosenthal on one thing, and that would be to come up with one of the greatest nicknames for that throw, the sinister sling.
Manny Machado's throw.
How quick was that? That was pretty quick.
Well,
and so I tried to change my name on Twitter to Sinister Slinger, but they don't really like it, and so it's under review. So if you don't see my Twitter.
Your new name is under review now?
I thought it would be fun, and now it's under review.
Well, I'm not watching the game tonight. Obviously, I'm going to be at the game, but I would love to see the broadcast and see what happens with Ken Rosenthal down in that Padre dugout tonight. It should be interesting.
Do you think they can request not to have him there?
I don't know. And, can Fox make a change at the last minute? Can Fox look at that article and say, hey, this is somebody who is not presenting as a very non-biased, journalist covering this series?
I would think that they knew before he put it up.
Yeah.
You never know, though.
You never know. All right, let's hear from Jackson Merrill, because he's a lot more interesting and entertaining than any of this Dave Roberts crap. Jackson Merrill, I don't want to say.
Is Chris irritated everyone or what?
Yeah, a little bit, hey. But Jackson Merrill, man, this guy, he's brought nothing but a smile to all of our faces this year, and I'm curious what he had to say heading into Game 3 at today's press conference.
Jackson, when the Padres came to you and first mentioned the word center field, what was your first reaction?
To be honest, they didn't even come and mention center field. They came and mentioned left field. So center field was kind of just one day I got thrown in the lineup in there, and then the rest is history. It kind of just happened that way.
Be more for Jackson. We'll go to the back row on the. Well, we can go to Bob, and then we'll go to the back row.
Jackson, you still taking ground balls at shortstop, and you ever think that, hey, one day you may be back there?
I kind of just take them there now for fun, just to keep my hands kind of smooth and, keep my footwork kind of good. But, whatever happens, happens. If they want to throw me back in the infield at any point, I'm ready. I'd love to do it, but at the same time, I'm also really happy where I'm at.
Jesse.
Jackson, we've heard Mike talk about, I think it was when you were hurt, you'd sit with James Wood and Mike Shildt a little bit watching games. What do you remember from that? Was it in the regular season, postseason, and just kind of what your takeaway was from all that?
Yeah, I think it was early 2022 season, and I had a broken wrist, so I came here and watched a couple games, but I got to sit with Mike in the stands and just kind of watch baseball and really take in baseball for what it was. I think they were playing the Marlins, and I saw Manny go deep twice, so that was pretty cool. But, just ball talk the whole game, it really opened my mind to what this game really is and how important it kind of is in my life.
From what you remember, what percentage was you talking versus Mike?
I think it was pretty 50-50, but I think there wasn't a single pitch in that game that we didn't pay attention to. I think we were locked in for every single pitch. We knew what pitch was coming next, too. That's how kind of focused we were on it.
Tony.
Jackson, all year long you've kind of, showed a ton of maturity in terms of handling what's been put in front of you. I imagine since the postseason started, you feel the different energy in terms of how the game is played. How have you been able to manage all of that energy and still stay, doing the same thing you've been doing?
Yeah, I think the postseason energy kind of takes control of everything. I don't really think there's too many moments in the game where you have to think too much. I think your adrenaline and your heart and your desire to play the game, I think that's what really takes over. And I think that's what helpful for me. I'm here to play baseball and have fun, and I think that's the way I've gone about it the whole year and the way I've kept going about it during the postseason.
For the back row on the left.
Jackson, you might have just answered that question, but you've talked all year about, playing a kid's game, having fun, and that being an approach. Has it felt any different now that you're playing in October in these big-time series, big-time environments?
Yeah, it's felt even more fun than it was before. I think the amount of people that come and watch and the amount of fans we get is just, I'm super thankful to be here and, be a part of this.
Come to Marty here in the middle, second row.
Jackson, I know your focus is always about the game and what's in front of you, but are you at all surprised about the conversation revolving around Manny Machado trying to throw a baseball at Dave Roberts and the Dodgers?
Yeah, I'm not really too concerned of what happened in the past or what happened the other day in the game. Regardless of what happened, we're here for one task and one task at hand. And Manny's been a really good leader, and he's done a really good job of really keeping us focused on that one thing. I don't think any of us think of him in a different way besides being a leader. He's always been there. He's always been doing the best he can, working hard to stay in the good shape he's in, but, I think we're all past that. We're ready to move on and play baseball today.
You played some electric games here at Petco Park. What are you expecting from this version of Padres and Dodgers in the playoffs?
I'm sure it'll be loud, so adrenaline will be bumping, a lot of emotions, but I think everybody's ready to handle it and just play baseball today.
Anything else for Jackson? Oh, we got one up on the riser in the back.
Jackson, do you ever think about the fact, 3 years ago you were playing high school ball, and now you're playing in the postseason? What do you attribute to the success and how successful you've been here at this level?
Yeah, I think about it sometimes. I think about how cool it is, though, and just how fortunate I am. But I think really it's just the people around me that got me here. I don't think I could have had a better group to come up with and a better group to play with this year, too, to just have as much fun as I possibly can have. And I'm just thankful. All my buddies in the minor leagues, every coach that's ever helped me, everybody along the last 3 years that's got me here, I'm just thankful for it all. And I'm just taking it all in right now.
That was Jackson Merrill speaking just a few moments ago.
Yeah, man. How much do we love this guy? I mean, they mentioned it. Schmaltz the other night said it, and we've been saying it all year. The unbelievable calm with which he plays the game is so much beyond his years.
It really is.
And the fact that I want to, was there some piece of wood I got to knock on here, Scraby?
Just knock on this.
Yeah. But he hasn't slumped at all. And that just doesn't happen to a rookie. Smoltz said that the other night, too, in the broadcast. Rookies always get figured out. Somebody finds a hole in their swing, a place they can't hit, where there's something they're struggling with. Nobody in the National League, American League, found that with Jackson Merrill. I mean, sure, he had a couple of 0 for 10s, but I'm talking about a 1 month slump where he couldn't do anything, and he had to make a bunch of adjustments and get back. That never happened to him. He finished 5th in the league in hitting.
292 was his batting
People don't
average.
even remember that, along with all the Rookie of the Year accolades and the way he's played center field. Incredible, and he came through with 3 big RBIs and a home run in Game 2. All right, we'll take a quick timeout. I should remind everybody, if you're coming down here to Baja Ricks Cantina, and we're on, it's the 6th Avenue here, right across the street from the Hard Rock Hotel. I mean, you can see the ballpark. It's a block away. So 6th Avenue, come on down to 6th and L, I think is the actual corner
there it is, 6th and
that
L.
we're on. So if you're looking for Baja Ricks Cantina, park your car, you're coming to the game, drop by here, grab yourself a cold one, grab yourself some tequila. The Santo tequila's, incredible. And the food, it's great. But did you see that burrito I had?
I did. I did. How was it, Chris?
It was so good. I didn't even make the whole thing disappear, and that's saying something.
But you did eat quick.
I did eat quick as I could. But, man, Baja Ricks, man, they got it going on. It's a great place. And we're going to be here broadcasting until 5. We're also going to be giving away a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld, actually 2. 4-packs to SeaWorld and a 4-pack of tickets to Legoland.
Yes.
So that's just a little bonus. Come on by, and you'll have a chance to win that. We'll step aside for a quick timeout. Game 3 is tonight. The Phillies and Mets are underway. Game 3 in
Pete
New York.
Alonso just hit an Oppo Taco.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
Mets jump in front. We'll find out more when we come back on Gwynn and Chris. out there to get a little loud here. We got to get a little loud. Got to warm up the pipes. Warm up the pipes.
That's right. Warm it up.
Gwynn and Chris broadcasting live. Rick's Baja Cantina in the gas lamp. All right, that's good. That's good.
You can't tell them to be loud and then tell them not to be loud. Everybody get loud. Let's
Get
go.
loud again. All right, that's awesome. Rick's Baja Cantina, the corner of 6th and L Street. In the gas lamp, brought to you by Santo, super premium additive-free tequila from Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Sammy Hagar. You know who he is, don't you, Scraby?
I do.
I Can't Drive 55.
Okay.
You know that song?
I do.
All right, that's
Somewhat,
Sammy Hagar.
yes, but I do know Sammy Hagar.
He also jumped in with Van Halen at the end, and they called it Van Hagar.
No, they did not.
Yes, they did.
That's
Yes, they
funny.
did. You got to keep up with your stuff. Also, world-renowned chef Guy Fieri at Santo. Work hard, play loud. All right, Scraby, you got some lineup news.
Yes, I do.
For tonight's game, the Padres lineup is very similar to Game 2, except for unless I don't know, did Peralta bat 7th and Cronenworth 8th in Game 2?
Yes, thank you, Adam. We can't do the lineup without
Thank you,
the lineup
Adam.
sound.
Adam Klug back in studio. I thought Cronenworth hit 7th, Peralta hit 8th. Anyway, tonight Peralta's in the 7th.
Yeah.
Cronenworth is struggling mightily. I hate to say. I'd love to see Jake break out a little tonight.
I don't know that he's gotten a hit yet this postseason.
He doesn't have a hit in this postseason. He's not having great at bats, but you know you got to go with Jake. I mean, he's one of our guys, and you know I still have the utmost confidence in him. You know that he's going to break out of it hopefully tonight. But he's hitting 8th behind Peralta. Higashioka's catching again.
Yeah,
he should catch. If he hits a home run in every game, I think you got to put him in the lineup.
You have to. You have to.
It's not really an argument, is it?
I got to say that A.J. Preller and the Padres have pushed every right button with the catcher position in the last few years because last year it was Gary Sanchez. This year it's Kyle Higashioka. Everything they do at the catcher position seems to work.
Higashioka and Michael King pitching tonight. I mean, that's the Soto trade right there. And, you know, it has been better than any of us ever anticipated. And that's saying something because Soto had an unbelievable year. But our guys, I think we're pretty happy with them. On the Dodgers side, though, is the newsworthy item, Scrape.
Yes, we were curious to see if Freddie Freeman was going to be in the lineup for the Dodgers with his ankle injury, and he is in the lineup. He's batting 3rd tonight. Goes Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Hernandez, Muncy, Smith, Lux, Edman, Rojas, and Buehler pitching.
All right, so pretty much the same Dodger lineup. And I'll tell you one thing. I know we don't like the Dodgers. We're never allowed to say anything good about them. But Freddie Freeman's a class dude. I like that guy. And, you know, you talk about what he went through with his young son during the season. That's real life.
That is.
And Freddie Freeman is an all-time guy. Yeah, I want him to make an out every single time up. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, there's certain guys I like. I like Freddie. And I want to say this. Am I the only one that is just a little worried that Mookie Betts is at some point going to get a hit? He has not, you know, he's 0 for his last 22 postseason at bats.
Yes.
I hate to say it, but he's too good. He's just too good. So, I mean, can we keep him quiet 2 more games? I sure hope so. But
I think they can. They've been doing it all series long. I mean,
he's so good.
It is interesting though when guys they slump in the playoffs.
It happens to guys. Almost every team has a guy that slumps in the playoffs. You know, for the Padres right now, it's Crony. So, you know, we'll see what happens along those lines tonight. You mentioned Pete Alonso homered. The Mets are in front of the Phillies 1-0. They're in the top of the 3rd inning. This is the first home game for the Mets in like 2.5 weeks. They finished the regular season on the road.
Yeah.
And then they went right into the playoffs and had that doubleheader in Atlanta. And then they had the series in Milwaukee. And then they had the first 2 games in Philadelphia. The Mets, I mean, let's just for fun, Scraby, we can do this because we're not playing in the game. If the Padres can knock out the Dodgers, is there a preference, the Mets or the Phillies? Because
I don't like either.
Both of them did pretty well against the Padres this year, and the Mets are just riding a magic streak of 9th inning, you know stuff. Now the Padres, Adam just brought this up. He's right. The Padres would have home field against the Mets. They would not have it against the Phillies. Yeah. So that's one reason I guess you would want the Mets. But I'm both of those teams scare me. So, you know, we can't look ahead if you're playing, but we can if we're broadcasting a little.
I would say I would say they need to play the Mets because home field advantage is going to be everything for the Padres. And last week once again, the applause lighting went up on the sign.
You got a little respect there.
If last week when Michael King won that game against the Braves, I was here in 2022 for the NLDS. I felt like it was louder this time round. And Michael King tonight is going to get every sort of home field advantage from the fans. So I think they need to play the Mets so they can get that home field advantage. Because you also got to think, Mets have been on this streak for what? 3-4 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks, but
they have.
It's got to end at some point. Like they weren't that good at some point in the year, and then now all of a sudden they're like the hottest team in baseball. Well, but the Padres are also hot too.
Well, 2 years ago the Padres, got the home field in the NLCS against the number 6 seed. That was the Phillies, and that didn't work out. So, either way, it's not going to be easy against the Phillies or the Mets, and it's not easy to win 2 more against the Dodgers. In the American League last night, Scraby, I don't know if you saw this, the Kansas City Royals got lucky, apparently.
According to Bob Costas.
No, according to Jazz Chisholm of the Yankees. Jazz Chisholm of the Yankees said, oh, yeah, they just got lucky. I don't know if that's the thing you need to say after you just got beat in a playoff game, but Jazz Chisholm's never been in the postseason anywhere near it before. I don't know if he knows how to react. It's just stupid to say something like that.
Don't provide bulletin board material.
Yeah, why?
We say it all the time.
Why bother? The Royals, put a good game together. Perez hit a home run, and the key hit. Got the key hit in that 4-run rally with 2 outs. Tommy Pham.
Yeah.
Tommy Pham's playing for the Royals now. It's crazy, but he came up with a big 2-out hit. Royals scored 4 runs. They got the pitching to get it done over the Yankees 4-2. So that series is 1-1. The Tigers and Cleveland are 1-1. The Mets and Phillies are 1-1. And this one is 1-1.
I know the divisional round hasn't been around for a long time, but I believe this is the first time that all 4 series are tied at 1 apiece after 2 games.
Well, yeah, you're right. This is something pretty cool.
See, we were talking about the bias of Ken Rosenthal earlier and how Joe Davis was on the broadcast, and, Joe Davis. I'm okay with Joe Davis.
He has not been biased, if you ask me.
Bob Costas, though, I played you a clip before the show of him calling a double play, the Yankees, and he sounded so depressed.
He sounded really disappointed that Giancarlo Stanton hit into a double play.
And then he goes, it's not his fault that he hit into a double play, right?
What he was trying... Look,
are you defending Bob Costas right now?
I'm always going to defend Bob Costas. He's one of the greatest broadcasters I've ever seen. What you played me was in a vacuum. I didn't hear what came before it or came after it, but I believe what they were talking about is the fact that Stanton was playing injured and can't run. And, the Yankees keep putting him in a lineup. So when he hit into a double play, I think Bob Costas is referring to the fact it's not his fault he got doubled up because he can't run.
But it is his fault.
Well,
he's the one who hit the ball.
You're so angry all the time.
I just don't like these biased announcers.
You and all of the rest of these, not you people, but all these people who only care about announcers. What about the game? Watch the game straight.
I'm trying, but I'm
Stop
getting
worrying
angry
about
by the
what
announcers.
some announcers saying, for heaven's sakes.
Shohei Ohtani's up to bat here, Chris, in about 3 hours.
3 more hours until Shohei Ohtani bats. Thank you for the update, Scraby gave it. Now, you got jeered for that one.
Yes.
You got jeered for that one here at Baja Ricks.
Yes, I did.
So
it's the first time I've ever been jeered in person. This is kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, it keeps you a little level-headed. We are broadcasting live. Baja Ricks are going to be here all day till 5 o'clock. I should mention Tony's going to be with us here within the half hour. Also, Dylan Hernandez, who's really a good writer and is legit, even though he writes for the LA Times. He's legit on this series, and he follows this pretty closely. I always like having him on. He'll break down what he's seen, and I'm sure he'll have some thoughts about the Dave Roberts brouhaha.
And you know what Dylan Hernandez doesn't do is he doesn't blow smoke. He tells you exactly how he feels. So I texted him this morning saying I was very curious to get his opinion on this because I haven't seen it.
All right, last night, did anybody watch any football? I mean, look, the Padres were off. Did you see any of the Chiefs and the Saints? I got to be honest.
I was bored out of my mind.
I didn't watch 1 minute.
I was bored out of my mind.
Barely even know what happened. I know the Chiefs won at the end. They're 5-0 like the Vikings. But just football, it's weird this year with the Padres doing what they're doing. I'm having trouble even paying attention to what's happening in the NFL. They're 5 weeks in now.
No, you're right.
There's 2 teams that are undefeated, but neither of those teams play this coming weekend.
Yeah.
Both the Chiefs and Vikings will be idle this weekend.
But you're right. It is impossible it's impossible for me to pay attention to football right now with all the baseball going on.
It is. I didn't watch any football last night. I was more in the baseball mood, so I watched the Royals and the Yankees play. What other little note do you have here?
Adam just said we have a phone caller on the line. Dan in La Jolla, if we want to take Dan. So
I'd love to take Dan.
All right.
Add to the proceedings, Dan. How are you?
Good. How are you? This is Dan the Delivery Man. I just had a suggestion for the fans tonight. I think we should chant, "Ain't going back." We're not going back to the Dodger Stadium. We're going to win this in 2.
All right. I like that.
I love
That's
it.
It's not bad, Dan.
No,
it's very poor grammar.
I don't.
Yes,
you're
yes,
worried
of
about
course that is.
grammar?
Yes.
With the other things
We're
that
going
could be chanting?
We're going to be on national television. I want to show people that we have excellent grammar in San Diego. We are not going back. There you go.
Back. Yes. Okay.
Too
All
much.
right.
Too many syllables.
Dan says ain't going back. All right?
I'm with Dan. Thank you very much,
I'm
Dan.
looking out for the school teachers in the
Ain't
audience.
going back.
Are you a
Ain't
school
Go
teacher?
Padres!
Go
We
Padres,
can't.
Dan.
Ain't
This
going
young lady.
back. There you go.
All right, thank you,
Okay,
Dan.
thank you, Dan.
This young
You're
lady
welcome.
is horrified to hear "ain't going back." She's a school teacher. We gotta, mind our P's and Q's. Scrappy.
The last time I checked, stadium chants aren't grammatically correct.
I know they're not.
So, come on.
Is anybody out there, I'm curious, who's not going to the game tonight? Where are you watching the game? Like, what is your me?
Setup.
What's your setup for the game? Like when my team, hardcore football team, this, Scraby, when the Dolphins are playing a big game, I hole up in my house and I don't want any distractions and I watch all by myself.
Yeah.
I'm curious, are there any Padre fans out there that are, so nervous like I get that they don't even want to be disturbed tonight, that they just want to be in their house?
There we go. We
That's
got
you?
one. Yeah.
Yeah, you
We
just
got a
want to be
couple.
in your house and just watch the game with nobody around, nobody calling you, no conversation. And then there's other people who want to just be with tons of people and jumping up and down and screaming and yelling.
So it's funny you bring this up. On Saturday, I went to a Game 1 party and it was really fun. There are so many different reactions during the game. There was one person who covered their face with a pillow when things got scary.
Yeah.
There was one person that literally just paced the entire game back and forth in the back of the room.
Right.
There were other people that were just having fun watching the game, but my personal setup when I'm not going to the game is by myself. I do like the by yourself watching because
I do too.
I can take it as I want it, and as well, like I'm not distracted. Like going to parties and stuff is sometimes distracting.
Somebody might walk in your field of view on a big pitch. Somebody might be in the in the restroom when you're trying to get in there between innings.
Yep.
And I just got to have everything, my way for the biggest game. I mean, I've thought about this a lot. If my team ever makes it to another Super Bowl, and that's a big if, I've already
right now it
seems
like it.
Right, it is. I am not going to go to any parties that day or anybody's coming over. My wife, if she wants to go watch the Super Bowl somewhere with people, fine. But I will not do that. I will watch it all by myself. And you know, that doesn't mean you don't care. That means you probably care as much or not more than other people.
Yeah,
You're
because you don't want to go to a
engrossed.
party.
Yeah, you got to watch every second of it.
The last 2 Super Bowls the 49ers played in, I watched by myself, and so maybe I need to switch that up because they've lost both Super Bowls. And then
the famous one, of course, was 3 years ago when you basically cried on your phone camera.
How did this happen? They were up, Chris. I'm still
can't figure that out.
Jimmy G still overthrowing Emmanuel Sanders in my head.
Yeah.
But baseball is good to watch on TV too because it's slow. It's not like you have to be on the edge of your seat the entire time. You can take little breaks here and there, which I need. Because playoff baseball, Chris, I don't know what changes about it, but I am locked in on every single pitch. And it's like this every single time playoff baseball comes around.
That's what's awesome, man. I mean, during the regular season, nobody even claps when you throw strike one. Right?
True.
Now it's a rousing ovation. Strike 2, everybody gets up. Everybody's yelling, everybody's screaming.
Full count.
Strike 3, it's Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
And then we do it all over again on the next batter.
Tony said last week that the Padres fans have such a good baseball IQ because they're cheering when they need to cheer, which is like walks or when they strike a guy out. But the Padres fans are loud.
Yeah,
loud,
and we're
loud.
having a lot of fun here. So come on down to Baja Ricks Cantina, get loud, watch some Padres pregame stuff with us, and then we'll all go to the ballpark for Game 3. A 6 o'clock start tonight. Gwynn and Chris until then on San Diego's #1 sports talk station, 97.3 The Fan. Back at you from Baja Ricks Cantina in the gas lamp, the corner of 6th and L. A lot of people are down here, obviously getting ready for Game 3 of the National League Divisional Series between the Padres and the Dodgers. We will be broadcasting live until 5 o'clock. We just gave away some SeaWorld tickets during the last break. We'll give some more SeaWorld tickets away a little bit later in the program, as well as some tickets to Legoland. So if you want to come down and hang out, spend a little time with us, we look forward to having you down here. We'll be broadcasting live until 5 o'clock. And then it is Sammy Levitt. I saw Sammy Levitt. I ran into him earlier.
Oh, yeah? How's he doing?
You know, Scrape, you should have seen this. I had to go pick up my credential before I came over here to Baja Ricks for the game tonight. The line for credentials at 1 in the afternoon was out the will call window, right? All the way out to the street. Then you make a left turn and go all the way down to the gate where you go into Petco Park.
Huh.
It was a 25-minute to a half-hour line just to get in as a member of the media. I mean, this is, crazy time. And with Ohtani, you've got the Japanese media here. And it's going to be a madhouse, not only in the stands, but in the press box tonight. I think Fox TV, as much as we're, criticizing them correctly, they chose this as the #1 series. That's why they have Joe Davis and John Smoltz covering it. If you're just tuning in, obviously you got the game tonight. That's the most important thing. Series is tied at 1. Michael King, Walker Buehler, all that. Lineups are in. Freddie Freeman's playing for the Dodgers. Padres lineup is the same as it was in Game 2. But the bigger story is all of these comments that Dave Roberts made concerning Manny Machado throwing a ball into the Dodger dugout during the game the other day. In Game 2, Dave Roberts is speaking to the media inside Petco Park right now. If he says anything of interest, we'll play it for you. But the other story, which I think is even, because we talked about Dave Roberts, to me, he's focusing on the wrong stuff. And,
yes.
It's his team. It's his story. He's got to play it out the way he wants to. But you asked Manny Machado about what happened in Game 2, and he's like, I don't know, ask me about Game 3.
Exactly.
So,
which can be seen. I've seen. It's really interesting. There is no middle ground in this whole thing. You either hate Dave Roberts or you hate Manny Machado.
Yeah, well, I hate Dave Roberts then. In this case, if there's no middle ground, because I don't hate Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
I like him. But I think in this case,
it was a mistake.
I think he's taken the wrong angle, man. His team has a lot of pressure on it. They have come up short here, year after year after year. And now he's got everybody focused, on Manny Machado rolling a ball into the dugout.
You know what people are doing today to those Dodgers players, reporters? They're asking them about that and how they felt, and they're taking all of the time to. He basically forced his team into putting energy into this when they didn't have to.
I hope it backfires on him, Scraby. Obviously, we won't know until these games are played what the real effect will be. But as Ken Rosenthal wrote, along with his incredibly critical piece about the Padres, he also mentioned in there that the Padres are in the Dodgers' heads. And if this plays out the way we all want it to play out, and the Padres win these next 2 games, Dodgers aren't going to be able to get out of the town quick enough. Because they're going to be, they're never going to be able to escape the criticism that's going to come with losing another first round for them playoff series 3 years in a row. But it's a very real possibility, and it's going to come hopefully at the hands of a Padre team that Ken Rosenthal said is classless, basically in an article he wrote for The Athletic today. Among it, he said Manny Machado is far from the Padres' only irritant. He called Machado's throw of the ball toward the dugout a sinister sling. He said that Fernando Tatis Jr. is a smiling, dancing peacock, whatever that is. He also said that Jurickson Profar is the kid who pulls the fire alarm at school and then asks, who, me? Now, this is the same guy that is going to apparently go into the Padre dugout tonight and ask for interviews during the game.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a very strange dynamic, I must say.
The article came out very quick. It came out too quick for my liking, but someone sent me what AM 570 in LA is saying about this, and it's not going to shock you. They're defending Dave Roberts, but I don't even believe that they believe in what they're saying here. They said basically, this is a Phil Jackson move, Chris. It's going to take the pressure off the guys. It didn't, though. I think it ratcheted up pressure.
Yeah, I don't think this is a good Phil Jackson move, and I've seen enough Phil Jackson coaching over the years. Phil Jackson did a great job of getting pressure off of his basketball teams, whether it be the Lakers or the Bulls, but he did it mostly by, maybe complaining to the, about the officiating, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He never, that I recall, did it by attacking another player on the other team. And that's what Dave Roberts did. He attacked Machado. And, I think it's going to galvanize the Padres. I really do. I don't think Phil Jackson would have ever been dumb enough to say something critical of, let's say, Patrick Ewing, so that the Knicks would galvanize further to try and beat the Bulls. That's not what Phil Jackson did, so I don't agree with that.
Do you think that there was any, and this is a Scraby conspiracy theory, do you think there was any do you think there was any sort of thought that maybe, because they sent this video in and they made a complaint to Major League Baseball,
yes, they
do you
did.
think there was any thought of maybe Manny gets suspended for this and he's not going to be a part of the series? Because why else would you send it into Major League Baseball? Did Major League Baseball see this video and laugh and throw it back at them, or are they taking this seriously?
If Major League, I've never agreed with you on anything conspiracy-wise.
Oh, wow.
Outwardly.
Is this now? What's going to happen now?
I'm going to tell you. If Major League Baseball suspended Manny Machado for rolling a ball into the dugout.
He threw it. We have to be fair.
Rolling a ball into the dugout at 8 miles an hour. If they suspended him for that, you would then have me believe for sure that baseball is trying to get Ohtani to the World Series. I would buy your conspiracy, but anything beyond that, I'm not going to ever buy your conspiracy, but baseball knows they can't do that.
Can you imagine sitting there and before Game 3 thinking, I need to send this video into the Major League Baseball offices to see if there's any punishment that can be handed out?
Let the Dodgers worry about all that, Scraby. I think it's advantageous for the Padres. I really do.
Here's Dave Roberts' now we're just piling on, but it's fine. Here's Dave Roberts' coaching career in the playoffs. 2016 lost NLCS. 2017 lost World Series. Lost NLDS. Won the World Series in 2020. Lost, and now they're tied. So it's not been a good go for him. This is why I think he was forced to do this. He is getting to a point where he doesn't have any tricks left in his bag to keep his job and to keep the team.
Well, he's going to keep his job if he wins this series. So maybe, but I just don't think he did the right thing to help his team focus on what they need to be focused on heading into Game 3. And I hope it backfires on him, Scraby. That's all I can tell you. I hope it backfires on him. I'm surprised that he's taken this attack. And, Mike Shildt said it best earlier today. He didn't have to defend this Padre team. I think this is a class Padre team. Tatis and Profar, they have some antics, but it's mostly, to me, enthusiastic antics. I've got no problem with playing the game that way.
Yeah,
and playing with emotion.
And what do you?
And I know one thing.
Stoic?
And I know one thing Dave Roberts wishes that he won't say right now. I bet he wishes some of his guys played with the emotion and enthusiasm of Fernando Tatis. He's got a stoic, boring, bogged-down, nervous ball club where Fernando's playing loose and having fun.
He's got an OPS over 2, Chris. He's got an OPS over 2. I actually
21 hundo.
I can't. I always do the 2.00s. 2,000.
Yeah.
I made a parlay bet just in case we did talk about some bets, but we don't need to go into the daily gambit. My parlay is plus 750. It's Michael King over 5.5 strikeouts, which I like.
6.
I like that. Walker Buehler under 2.5 strikeouts. He only struck out 1 in the last time he pitched against the Padres.
2.5 not very many, but okay.
Fernando Tatis Jr. 2+ total bases, and I think that's a good safe one because he's playing so well right now.
He's hot.
He's very hot.
I would say the toughest one there is Buehler under 2 strikeouts.
Probably.
However, The Padres don't strike out.
They don't.
I mean, that's one of the secrets of the Padres. They hit the ball. They put it in play better than any team in baseball. Combine that with the fact that they hit 6 home runs. I'll take half that many tonight, Scrape.
Yeah, we just need a couple of those to get ahead.
I'll take half that many tonight.
The over-under for total number of runs in the game is 8.
For the night?
I think that goes...
It's a tough one.
It is really tough.
I'm going to be under. King.
What was game 1? What was the score? 7-5?
Yeah, that was
game
over.
Game 2 was 10.
Both games have gone over right now. Both have had 12 runs scored. I think tonight
it's a warm day at Petco. The balls are going to fly.
6-1 Padres.
6-1, okay.
Yeah, because you know why? I can't sweat it out again like the first 2 games. I just can't.
Wasn't it nice sitting back in like the 7th or 8th inning of game 2 and just being like, I know we got
so
this.
happy when they hit those last couple home runs. Because, I mean, I was sweating it out. Because you had to be sweating it out because there was no room for error. They could not lose that game.
No.
We knew that.
Yes.
And, you're pitching with a 1-run, 2-run lead the whole game. Thankfully, they were able to create a little distance out there.
You know why I think tonight's going to be a good night, Chris? You're going to laugh at this, but when I was walking over here to do the show, I saw a guy walking his dog, and the dog had a Dog Fernando Tatis Jr. jersey on, and so I know it's going to be a good day when a dog's wearing a Fernando Tatis Jr. jersey.
You do?
Yes. You don't?
I never thought about it really before, but it's not bad.
If you were to see a dog walking around in a Fernando Tatis Jr. jersey, you would take note.
Let me just tell you something. My dog has a Padre jersey.
Really? Why is she not wearing
number
it?
00, and it's from the blue Padres jersey.
OG Padre jersey.
Yeah, we haven't bought her an updated brown version yet. If anybody wants to buy my dog a brown Padre jersey, I'll take it.
Don't do that, people.
But it's really don't. Because it drives me crazy when my wife makes me put it on her. So.
Does she like it?
Does she like it? She's a dog. She doesn't want to wear a jersey.
I mean, how do you know?
Well, I don't for sure.
Thank you.
Maybe she actually likes it. Kind of like when I wrap a dolphin bandana around her head on Sunday afternoons when they win.
No, she's like, get this garbage thing off my head.
All right, we are at Baja Ricks Cantina, and it's at the corner of 6th and L Street, right down here in the gas lamp, block away from Petco Park. Here's the deal. They've got specials on tacos, drink specials, Santo Super Premium, additive-free tequila, from Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Sammy Hagar, world-renowned chef Guy Fieri. Santo, work hard, play loud. We got the margarita for $8. You got blood orange margarita, 10. Santo Tequila Sunrise, 10. Santo Beer Rita, 10. Santo Bloody Maria, 10. Santo Reposado.
Reposado.
Thank you. Reposado shots. I got to work on my phraseology in Spanish.
In years, so.
Yeah, we haven't. $7 for those. So, come on down. Have a great time. We're going to be here till 5 o'clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., it's partly his show. He'll join us in the next segment from Rick's as our coverage of Padres Game 3 National League Division Series against the Dodgers continues on. Sandy goes home for Padre Baseball, 97.3 The Fan. is great. This is absolutely great. Padres, Dodgers, all the marbles, everything on the line. Trip to the National League Championship Series, hated rivals, managers calling out players. I mean, this has got it all.
Padres taking the high road.
And we've only played 2 games, right? We could have hopefully only 2 more left. Tony Gwynn Jr. is at Petco, and he joins us on his show for the first time today. Tony, how are you, man? How excited are you? I mean, this is we take it for granted that this is happening, but this does not happen all the time in San Diego, and we should really appreciate this.
Without a doubt. First, gentlemen, how are you today? Thanks for allowing me to join the show today.
Yes, you're welcome.
You can join the show whenever you want, Tony.
Yes, you're welcome, sir.
I have to say, I am struggling right now, and I'm struggling because there was like a cold brew coffee kind of cart going around, and I've had too much of it, and like my heart feels like it's going to explode. Like, so I'm really jittery, and so if I start talking gibberish, that's why. I am really trying hard to control this right now, and it is hard. This
if
feels
you
like
start if you start talking gibberish, I'll just think it's Scraby, so don't worry.
Should be
All
fun,
right,
though.
Tony.
Great. I'm expecting a great atmosphere. Energy will be high. Should be a lot of fun tonight.
All right, everybody wants to know your opinion on this, Dave Roberts and Manny and, I don't know if we call it sinister sling gate, but, everybody wants to hear what you got to say, Tony. And I know you're probably like me and you just want to talk about the game itself, but this is going to be an overriding story for sure.
Yeah, I think, here's how I'll couch it. I think, obviously in these type of games, in this particular series, there's already, even before this was a playoff series, there's already budding rivalry happening. And I think both sides understand it. And I think when you throw in there an NLDS, emotions run high. And that's on both sides. Clearly, I think we've all witnessed it and felt it through the first 2 games, how emotional it is. And we all enjoy that. But with that, I think can have, some of these things can go left. And in some ways it's okay. I think ultimately, no one got hurt. And, I think, these things can happen. I think both sides are looking forward to the game in terms of, how was it intent, any of that. It's nobody can really tell intent. I think what's making it confusing is there's a bunch of videos going around that I don't think are necessarily the same videos. I don't think that they are painting the picture correctly in some ways. But listen, what I can tell you is clearly Padres felt a way about Toddy getting hit. Then everything else kind of transpired after that. And so you can kind of put it however you want it. But here's what I also say is I think Manny, we talked yesterday about how Manny was able to kind of bring everybody in and kind of recompose themselves. I think a piece of that might have been, what had transpired the inning before in terms of what we're talking about today. That the sinister throw, as you said, Chris, or however it's being phrased, that's I think part of the understanding of coming in and say, all right, let's refocus, let's get back to playing baseball. I think it's all connected ultimately. And at the end of it, I think they got it right in terms of kind of recomposing and getting back to playing baseball.
The only thing that's really surprised me, because we know Dave Roberts, you know him a lot better than I do, Tony, but I don't know, and I'm going to say it again. I like Dave Roberts. I'm not a big fan of him in this situation. I'm just surprised that he would make a thing out of this, because his team has bigger fish to fry, just like the Padres do. The Padres are doing a great job of turning the page, and maybe Dave Roberts was just answering a question, but I felt like he was trying to send a message as well that, it was somewhat dirty tactics by Manny Machado, and I think it's got the Dodgers' focus perhaps off kilter a little bit, or at least I hope it does.
I find that interesting coming from you, a lover of Phil Jackson who was famous for doing
this is crazy. This is crazy. We've been talking about that.
For doing these type of things in these type of series. And when you think about all that the Dodgers have going on their side, on the negative side, right? They've lost the past 2 postseasons. Mookie Betts is marred an 0 for 22. Freddie Freeman's banged up. Their starting pitching wasn't what it was. This, to me, feels like him trying to take some of the attention off of his guys and focusing it on him. Now, listen, I just came out of all of those pressers, and at least from what the players said, this wasn't a focus of theirs. So if I am to believe them, then that means that's exactly what Dave Roberts is doing at this point. Because if it's not a focus of the players, what else reason would you need to bring it up? Certainly, it could be that he was just answering the question, but, I think there's a lot of it left a room for interpretation of why this was happening when it was happening.
Well, you're right when you mentioned Phil Jackson, and it's funny because we just mentioned it before you came on. Scraby brought it up, and I said, if he's trying to do Phil Jackson, I think he missed the mark, because I don't think Phil Jackson ever tried to, be critical of another player on another roster. Because I think if you're going to say something and insinuate something negative about Manny, to me, that's just going to galvanize the Padres, and that should be the last thing Dave Roberts wants to do.
Yeah, listen, I think at this point, Padres don't need any galvanizing. There's not much that anybody's going to do that's going to change their focus and what it is they're trying to get accomplished. And so, I mean, this is up for debate in a number of different ways. Ultimately, this is still about Game 3 and what happens in between the lines. I mean, we can enjoy having the conversation about, what happened, should it have happened, was it intentional, was it not intentional? Because there's no, MLB involvement in this is really a lot to do about nothing, because no one's suspended, no one's having any, consequences. So this is just back to who's going to win Game 3. That's what it really boils back down to.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know me well enough to know that I did not overlook that in talking about this all day. It's going to come down to who plays the better game tonight. We know this. Ken Rosenthal, I'm sure you saw his article as well. I don't want to turn this into a thing.
But I've heard about it.
Oh, you haven't? You've heard about it.
Yes.
He's the one who called it the sinister sling. He's the one that said Machado's an irritant. Hernandez a smiling, dancing peacock. Profar is the kid who pulls the fire alarm and then asks, who, me? I just find it a little strange from coming from.
Did he really say that?
Yeah, I said.
No, Ken Rosenthal wrote
Ken
that.
Rosenthal wrote all this.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I just think it's kind of interesting coming from a guy who may have to go into the Padre dugout tonight and get interviews during the game. That's, he can say whatever he wants, but that's a strange time for that.
I can tell you, Ken's not scared. He's already literally walking down the dugout steps as we speak. So clearly that is not going to stop my man from doing his job. I mean, that's I think at this point I kind of expect that type of article, and I haven't read it, to be fair. From what I told, about 80% of it was spot on. The other 20 was, maybe a little pot shots here and there, but I think that's kind of to be expected. And I think the only way that turns into a different direction is if the Padres win this series and continue to win. Then the focus just goes back to that.
The other thing that Ken Rosenthal correctly or incorrectly stated in his article was that he believes the Padres are living in the Dodgers' heads. I don't know that I can buy into that 100%, but it might be partly true, and we'll see what happens as a result.
And I can tell you this based off of what was said from Gavin Lux and Max Muncy. They certainly recognize that the Padres seem to be at an advantage when they're getting to play the game the way they like. You mentioned the dancing around Toddy and the pulling the fire alarm profile. Like, those are things, we watch this team all year. They certainly feed off energy. And whether it's the fans or it's their own created, that is how they play. And I think, Jesse and I were talking about it on our walk back up. It's really a tale of two different styles. The Padres are, they're not the new kids on the block out there just having fun, but they certainly are a looser bunch than what the Dodgers are. The Dodgers are they want to be a business-like, buttoned up, top button, all the way there. Padres are, a couple buttons undone. They want to come in with their shirt untucked a little bit in the party. So that contrast alone is going to probably lead to some words being said back and forth when you get in the heat of competition. And you know what? That is perfectly fine. I think that setting right there is good for the folks who are watching and Major League Baseball in general.
Yeah, I think Tony just gave us about 1,000 reasons that we've talked about, but why we just can't wait for the game. Yeah. And 6 o'clock it'll start. When we return, more Gwynn and Chris from Baja Ricks Cantina just outside Petco Park. And Dylan Hernandez, an unbelievably good columnist for the LA Times. I'm sure he'll have some thoughts on everything we're talking about. It's coming up next on Gwynn and Chris. Petco Park, the corner of 6th and L here in the gas lamp. Scrappy, we got a lot of friends out there. A lot of gold, brown and gold, getting ready for tonight's Game 3 of the National League Divisional Series. Yeah,
are we ready? Let's go! Come on! I kind of sprung that one on him, Chris.
They were ready for you. There's one guy back there with the old blue and orange, and I don't want to. I like it still, but I am so glad that we changed.
Oh yeah,
3 or 4 years ago, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's just God. I mean, the sea of brown and gold is just. You know who else liked the brown and gold? Tony Gwynn Jr.'s dad.
Ah,
he did. Right, Tony?
He didn't see these ones. He liked the. I think his favorite.
No, he didn't see these, but he loved brown and gold before they went blue.
No, he didn't. He didn't love blue and gold at all. He called it the Taco Bell. I think.
Oh, he didn't like it.
He did. He did.
I'm misrepresenting him here.
You did. It's all good though. He was a big, he loved the. I think he loved the navy and orange. That was kind of his. His joint right there. Those were his colors.
You know what I think he really liked, Chris?
What do I know?
I think he was a really big City Connect guy too. So.
Yeah, never mind.
I don't think. My dad was old school. He liked. I don't think he minded the older version, the '84 version. He never saw these, to be fair, but he definitely was a fan of the navy and orange.
Phillies just put the first 2 men on in the top of the 6th inning, and then Sean Manaea got out of it with a double play ground ball into the inning. Mets still lead Philadelphia 2-0. Going to the bottom of the 6th inning. Pete Alonso hit a home run for the Mets, and then Jesse Winker, your best buddy, hit one, Scraby, for the Mets.
Wink went deep. I tell you what, before that double play that Castellanos, he punched out Bryce Harper with first and second. That's a big inning right there.
Big job. Sean Manaea pitching a tremendous game. I mean, we got former Padres all over the place in these playoffs, including Sean Manaea. All right, Dylan Hernandez from the LA Times set to join us, and we appreciate him coming on. I know he's getting ready to cover the game tonight, and we may not like the Dodgers here, but we sure like Dylan Hernandez, who covers them for the LA Times. Dylan, thanks for being on today. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Excited about this one. It's going to be an interesting game, I think.
Yeah, do you have any storylines you can focus on, Dylan? Anything happening out there?
Yeah, well, for sure, that whole Manny thing was kind of interesting, right? And I just kind of thought, I don't know, didn't it feel like they were kind of trying to lawyer ball Manny into like a suspension, right? I mean, let's be honest, like the Dodgers just got the wheels blown off them, I thought, in the last game. One team just looked a lot better than the other. And, maybe it reminds me a little bit, situations a little bit different, but right, with Gurriel and Darvish when that happened in the 2017 World Series.
Yeah.
The Dodgers were obviously pushing to get Gurriel, banned for life or something. I'm kidding. I'm being sarcastic there. But, they wanted him gone. And it just felt a little bit like that, right? Can't beat him on the field, so let's try to beat him in the courtroom, so to speak.
Dylan, you were in the same presser I was in. Was it just me, or did it feel like, at least from the Dodger player perspective, they certainly know that there's a certain way that they have to play this game and not fall into the trap of, or at least they consider it a trap of, playing, as they said, the Padre style.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with the types of players the Padres have too, right? I mean, they're more athletic, they're more dynamic. You take, Ohtani being obviously the one exception, but I do think top to bottom, the Padres have more dynamic players, and you kind of don't want to get them excited and kind of up, in that type of zone where, they're not really thinking and they're just kind of playing, right? Because that's not the type of game I think the Dodgers they don't want to get in a firefight with them, especially, when you kind of look at the Dodgers pitching and you just have no idea what you're going to get every day, right? I mean, Yamamoto, it went really badly. Flaherty, that didn't go well. And look, Walker Buehler pitched the, start of the game where the Dodgers clinched the division title in the regular season. But frankly, that was one of his maybe 3 good starts the whole year. So, I wouldn't be, given Walker Buehler as competitive as he is, I wouldn't be surprised if he gave another performance like that. it also wouldn't shock me if he doesn't get out of like the third inning, right? So, yeah, I just think with the Dodgers, you're kind of looking at this thing where you don't want to let the thing get out of hand, yet at the same time you kind of know you're going to have to score runs to win just because you don't have the pitching to hold the other team.
Dylan Hernandez from the LA Times is our guest here ahead of Game 3 between the Padres and the Dodgers. And Dylan, I know Dave Roberts talked about his team being a little bit more enthusiastic and matching the energy of the Padres. But Tony brought up in the last segment, I agree with him, this is just a little bit more of a buttoned-up team, the Dodgers. So whether they want to be more enthusiastic or not, is it something you think they can do?
I think when he's kind of talking about like enthusiasm, I don't think it's right because this isn't like a rah-rah team. I think it's kind of about when you kind of get in those competitive situations, just not backing down, right? And, I think he's probably to some degree talking about Mookie Betts here. So far he's been hitless. I think he's 0 for his last 22 in the postseason now, 3 for his last 44, dating back to, I think, the 2021 NLCS. And they need him going, right? Because I think if we saw anything in Game 2, it was the change in approach against Ohtani. The Padres are not going to let this guy beat him anymore. And so kind of right, and then with Freddie Freeman playing on one leg, basically, I think a lot of the burden falls on Mookie Betts, and they need Mookie to kind of, and honestly, I wrote about him the other day after Game 2. His body language was not great. He was kind of like, I don't know what to say, man, which is, again, kind of like how he sounded. So I think part of that is kind of like directed at Mookie in terms of like, hey, like we need you to get going in some way, shape, or form.
Is this, obviously for the Dodgers in their pitching situation, it would seem that Walker Buehler, especially with the news that Michael Grove is no longer available, this would seem it's a must-win for either one, but this seems especially a must-win for the Dodgers because their pitching is a little bit short as it pertains to the rest of this series.
Yeah, and I think that's really where the gap is, right? To be honest, like to me, you look at the two teams, the Padres are a much better team, right? They have the pitching. Now, it's a short series. Anything can happen. Obviously, they play these games for a reason. Right, it wouldn't shock me if the Dodgers advanced, but the Padres are the better team right now, and this is not the situation they wanted to be in. You know what I mean? Even coming into this postseason, I did write that. Given the question marks about Yamamoto, given the question marks about Flaherty, they're right. The most likely candidate to give them a quality start might actually be Walker Buehler, and that's not where they want to be. Right, we're a guy coming off Tommy John, and look, I don't think the guy's done by any means. I think some team, right, will pick him up next year as one of these high-ceiling projects. And my guess is that one of these years he's going to figure it out again. But it's been a struggle this year. And, Buehler himself talked about the game he pitched against the Padres last week about, hey, even though the results were good, I wasn't happy with a lot of that start. So, this is, they're, and here's the thing, man. Even if they advance here, they're dead in the water in the next round, right? Because I don't see a scenario where they kind of get out of this without overtaxing their bullpen, and over a 7-game series in an NLCS. These guys are going to be just, they're going to be run to the ground at that point.
Dylan Hernandez is with us from the LA Times. Dylan, it's just in the back of my mind, and I know no Padre fan wants me to suggest, that the Padres are going to win this series, but if they do, could it be curtains for Dave Roberts? Could the Dodgers finally set the complete reset button all the way?
I don't know. A lot of my colleagues have certainly brought that up. We're sitting here, talking about it up in the press box, obviously. I just don't see how you can, justify that because this is about pitching, right? And it was about pitching last year, and it was about the pitching the year before. Now there is this kind of weird dynamic where Andrew Friedman has this kind of clause, Ohtani has a clause in his deal that says if either Mark Walter, the primary owner, or if Andrew Friedman were to leave the organization, he can opt out of his deal, right? So that kind of in a way, right, and given the fact that Ohtani's basically paying them to, play for them, he really is, right, when you count all the deferrals and everything. So I just don't see Friedman going anywhere, right? But how do you blame Roberts for this, right? And I'm not, look, there might be a guy out there who you could argue kind of top to bottom. Now, I do think Roberts takes care of a lot of things, puts out a lot of fires that kind of like could flare up over the season. Maybe you could argue, okay, maybe there's a tactically stronger manager out there somewhere. But, he hasn't really had the chance to show it the last 3 years just because, he's had no chance. He just doesn't have the pitching. And that's just what this comes down to. And again, the front office keeps talking about like, oh, we learned our lesson, this and that, and they just keep doing the same thing over and over and over.
Well, certainly they haven't had their best roster together. It's seemingly going into the postseason. You mentioned all the injuries, but it's certainly going to be something to watch. Dylan Hernandez joins us here at LA Times, and Dylan, obviously Freddie Freeman is a big part of this lineup, and had to come out of Game 2. He's right now, as we speak, he's penciled in to Game 3. He looked good getting through Game 1. Apparently wasn't feeling great through Game 2. What Freddie Freeman should we expect here today?
Yeah, I don't know. He did really surprise me in Game 1, because I just thought like, well, it's I'm sure it's some kind of, a morale boost for the team to have him in there. I didn't think he was actually going to hit, and he actually hit the ball really well, right?
Yeah,
so I don't know. Maybe the day off was kind of enough. Because he has he broke the tip of like one of his fingers, right? I think it was like his middle finger, and I remember this is earlier this month, and they gave him like a couple days off, and I asked Roberts, like, what's that supposed to do? Like, the finger's not going to unbreak itself in 3 days. That said, he came back, and I think he homered like 4 times in the next 3 games or something. So, what do I know when it comes to this stuff?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Dylan. We think you know a ton, and we love having you on the show. It's always fun when the Dodgers and Padres hook up, especially now in the postseason. Thanks for your time, and look forward to seeing you up in the press box, sir. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the series.
Yeah, no, thank you, and same to you guys.
Thanks, Dylan.
There he goes, the outstanding Dylan Hernandez from the LA Times. We have to check a little traffic, and then we'll keep rolling here.
From the
All right, Chris and Scraby here at Baja Ricks Cantina. Tony up in the booth at Petco. Tony, did you see any of the games last night on the night off, or did you take a true night off?
No, I watched both of the games. I watched more of the Detroit game, which was phenomenal, and got a little bit of the Yankee game. Started off good for the Yanks, but to typical Royal fashion, they were able to kind of steal and run their way into a victory, and now you got all series at 1-1. It's pretty nice, I got to say.
I love it. Tommy Pham had the big hit. I know that pleases Padre fans a great deal. But, I was mentioning this before, Dylan. So many former Padres out there doing good things. Manny is pitching a tremendous game here today. Still got the 2-0 lead for the Mets. And you got Waka and Lugo and Tommy Pham for the Royals. And, just on and on it goes. Of course, Soto with the Yankees. So
I don't know if it was yesterday or today. It was like 3/4 of the starters were former Padres at one point I saw. So, there's a little Padre touch across the MLB playoffs this year.
Have you do you have any thoughts on Jake Cronenworth and his struggles right now, Tony? Is there anything you're seeing, anything you're detecting, anything that Jake might be, not doing what he normally does? Because he's in a bit of a, he's in a slump. I'm not going to say a bit of a slump. He's in a slump. Doesn't mean he can't break out of it. I certainly hope he does. Are you seeing anything?
I mean, he just looks like he's in between. Looks like his timing's off.
Okay.
In terms of hitting. But you know, a lot of postseason isn't just about the offense, right? I think it's about, you know, especially the defensive end where he's been really great since he's moved to second base. That's what you're considering changing up really at this point. He's hitting at the bottom of the lineup. He's hitting in the 8th spot. So anytime you can, you know, get some production down there, it's bonus time, right? Because that just allows the top of the order to eat and do what they've done, you know, through at least in game 2. And so I just see it as a timing issue. He seems a little bit off, a little bit kind of in between on what he's seeing at the plate. You see him, you know, you see him like swing extremely late, from time to time, or foul some balls off the left side. I just think it's a timing issue with him right now.
And then the guy that pulls the fire alarm at school and then asks, "Who me?" Our friend Jurickson Profar. Here's the thing. Profar is so smart, I think, Tony. You talked about how timely his bunt was the other night. Not only was it timely, I think he's been struggling at the plate, and it was a perfect thing to do. But the thing I liked is the line drive hit he got in the 8th or 9th inning, right after all those runs are scored. I'm hoping Jurickson gets going because everybody's hitting right now. And, you know, I know it's impossible to have all 9 guys. I get that. But, you know, if you can get Profar back to a little of that magic, it's certainly not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, no, listen, I think obviously Prof is a huge part of what the Padres do offensively. But the thing about this lineup is it doesn't have to be hits. I mean, these guys find other ways on base, whether it's getting a walk. And so, you know, doing one something is the name of the game come postseason. It ain't about getting a bunch of hits. It's about doing something that helps you win a ball game. And that doesn't have to be hits. You know, that bunt, finding a way via walk. And if listen, you're power driving the ball into the gaps, even better. That's great too. But I'm less concerned about these guys stacking hits and more concerned about them making winning plays and doing winning things. And they did that in game 2.
You've been hanging around me too long, Tony. You sound just like me.
Oh, yeah. That's
Make
it.
winning plays to win games.
Hey, once we get to this time of the year, that's all that should matter. Do something to help win a ball game, period.
Couldn't agree more. Scrape, you got a programming note here?
No.
Okay. We'll just come back with another hour. Gwynn and Chris from Rick's Baja Cantina on 97.3 The Fan.
The workday is coming to an end.
It is 5 o'clock. I will see you all tomorrow.
But Gwynn and Chris are just getting started.
Sports talk it is.
Your hosts, Tony Gwynn Jr.
For your chance to win a pair of tickets. Wow, what is this, DePeche?
And Chris Ello.
Guy Rosario got a couple of at-bats last year. Brent Rooker got some at-bats.
Eggy
Rosario, I said E-Guy.
that needs to be a promo as well.
It's time to get you up to speed on all things sports.
Yes!
With plenty of nonsense in between.
Oh, look! Here comes our fearless producer!
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
And we kick off our version of the happy hour at a place that's had nothing but happy hours all day long. Baja Ricks Cantina, let's hear it. It's starting to really fill up out here.
It really is.
I don't know if you can get that crowd. Everybody wants to get, some food and drink before they get in the ballpark.
The line for the bar is out the door.
Big.
Literally out the door.
It's pretty big. We have a great crowd here. And, of course, look, everybody wants to be down here at Petco Park. We're just a block away at the corner of 6th and L. So if you are parking your car right now somewhere, getting ready to move, come on in for the game, stop by, say hello, have yourself a quick shot of some Santo Super Premium additive-free tequila. They got drink specials. They got great food here. And Baja Ricks right here outside Petco Park. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby, Tony Gwynn Jr. Tony's getting ready for his broadcast. I do have an update from the Big Apple, Scraby. Starling Marte, 2-run single. Mets 4, Phillies nothing. They're going to the top of the 7th inning
I don't
now
know whether the clap
in New York. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to put more of my energy into what the Padres are doing right now because, the winner of the Mets-Phillies series, we talked about it earlier, but it doesn't matter to me at all who wins if the Padres don't, right? The Padres got to win, but the Mets are trying to they got the upper hand in Game 3. Sean Manaea, the former Padre, has only allowed 2 hits through 6 innings.
We're winning, Chris. We're winning. Yeah, see? 6 o'clock is coming. The Padres are going to win tonight, Chris. He's looking around. He's trying to figure out.
I got you. Pete Alonso and Jesse Winker both homered in this game for the Mets. The American League Series is off today. All right, Padres and Dodgers. Scraby, we've talked a lot about everything going on outside, the game.
Yes.
But Michael King pitches tonight. Walker Buehler pitches tonight. We heard about from Dylan Hernandez about Buehler's struggles. Michael King has all of a sudden become the ace, almost like the unquestioned ace of this team with Musgrove down. As great as Darvish is and was in Game 2, Dylan Cease, the stuff he has, I feel like everybody feels more confident with Michael King than anyone.
Michael King is, let me just tell you, Michael King's a confident dude, and I am confident with Michael King on the mound. After seeing what he's done all year long, what he's done in big games, I mean, Michael King has been, we talked so much in the beginning of the year about whether or not Michael King was going to be able to go a certain amount of innings, if he was going to be able to adjust to the starting pitching role. We shouldn't have talked about any of it, Chris, because it's been seamless for him.
He's the second year in a row that we picked up a pitcher who was basically a reliever turned full-time starter. And neither Seth Lugo nor Michael King was supposed to be able to pitch more than 60 innings.
True.
And, it just gets into my thinking about the way we baby these pitchers. And, this is not the day for the conversation to be had.
But I think it's a mindset, too.
There's something about this. Both these guys have been like 60 innings. Forget it. Seth Lugo was arguably, other than Tarek Skubal, the best pitcher in the American League this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's those two guys for the Cy Young.
And he pitched a ton of innings. He had a ton of strikeouts. Michael King is, nobody's out there right now going, boy, Michael King's kind of pushing his innings limit.
No, not anymore.
Nobody's concerned about that tonight.
He actually said last week that he's feeling great and he really wants to pitch 200 innings with the playoffs included. So they're going to have to go deep in the playoffs to get this done. But if he's able, I mean, that was his goal coming into the year, Chris. So It's been a mindset thing for him.
I got one thing for him tonight: 27 outs or 21, whatever you got to get tonight. He's got to focus. This Dodger lineup is still scary. Darvish did an unbelievable job against them in Game 2. Michael King's going to need his wipeout stuff and his wits about him. Ohtani's right there. Betts is in this unbelievable slump. I'm scared to death of Betts is going to, get something before it's all over. It's a good lineup. Padres going to have to score some runs and make those plays defensively to keep the Dodgers at bay. All right, you want to play a little Chris versus the fans?
Sure.
All right, we can do that. I got to give you the phone number, 833-288-0973. Scraby has some questions. We can play a little Chris versus the fans if you want to dial in and play. I'd say now would be a really good time to dial in because we didn't really even know we were going to play. So all the lines should be open. Frank will take your call in studio, get you set to play. Scraby, I'm looking for the prize.
The prize is going to be a pair of tickets to Sublime with Rome at Gallagher Square on November 23rd. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Who is it?
Sublime with Rome.
Is that a name of a group?
You know who Sublime is, right?
Vaguely.
Vaguely?
Yeah.
I'm not a music guy, but I know that whole CD by heart.
I have gray hairs here, people,
That
on the
doesn't
side
matter.
of my head.
Everybody knows who Sublime is.
No, not everybody knows who Sublime. Do you know who Sublime is?
People are showing their gray hair to show you that they have gray hair, and they also know who Sublime is.
Sorry.
But the lead singer unfortunately passed away years and years and years ago, so Rome is the replacement singer.
I don't know that years and years ago the guy passed away because I didn't even know the group.
Sean Bradley.
Sean Bradley?
No, it's not Sean Bradley. It's Bradley. What's his last name? Why am I forgetting his last name?
Oh, come on, mister. I know everything about Sublime.
I do know that.
You apparently don't know that much.
I said Sean Bradley.
Sean Bradley was the old basketball player.
Bradley Knoll.
From BYU.
There we go. Thank you. I got some guys helping me here, but there he is.
The thought,
very sad story, actually.
The thought of Sean Bradley as the front man for a band at 7'6" is kind of a comical thought to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know that he has the sultry tones that Bradley Knoll had, but
all right.
Yeah. Sublime with Rome is the prize.
That's the prize. All right, 833-288-0973. Chris versus the fans work, but we're going to not do our open today. We'll just go right into it.
I think we got the open.
All right. Scraby says play the open, Frank.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
You know what's my favorite, Chris, is that we have a couple people here calling in for Chris versus the fans from Baja Ricks.
Oh, they want to.
Cantina.
Okay, Baja Ricks Cantina. People that are here are going to be on the phone playing against me.
Yes.
Well, that's going to make it harder for me to cheat.
Hey, he finally admitted it, everyone. He finally did.
I knew if I said that you would jump.
Well,
all over
I'm just
that.
waiting. You know what? I actually thought about this on the drive home last night.
Did you really?
To the day. I'm waiting for the day that you tell me that you have been giving Tony the answers in Chris's Fantabulous Sports Game Show, because I feel gaslit every single time.
That will never happen because I don't give him the answers, so
All right.
I can't tell you that.
The rules, you have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get the question wrong and Chris gets it right, you are eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. And Chris versus the fans is presented by SD Fat Loss. Lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. Visit sdfatloss.com to schedule your free consultation. All right, we got our people on the phone. And I'm going to go to the first name I saw, and he is here. Rod is over there, Chris.
There he is. Rod is sitting over there.
He's sitting over there.
He's got both hands raised.
Let him hear it. Let him hear it, Baja Ricks. Let him hear it.
I was going to say, Rod, where are you? Where you're at
I'm
Baja
over here
Ricks.
on the
So
left side
strange.
of Gravy, everybody.
Yes.
There
There's
he
Rod
is.
right there.
Rod is there. Okay, he's going to play.
If you're a fan of the YouTube chat, Rod is a big contributor to the YouTube chat.
All right, let's play some
All right.
Chris Bertha. Give him a question, Scrabe.
Question number 1. Rod, if you don't know this, I'm kicking you out of the chat. Who accused Manny Machado of throwing a baseball at them on Sunday?
Oh my God. The All-Star is the one who instigated it, but Mr. Hoop manager.
Come on, bro. I need an answer. Boo!
Dave Roberts, come on.
Okay,
Dave Roberts, come
there
on.
we go. That was hilarious, actually, that he got booed.
Did he get it right? Or
He
are we
did.
giving it
Dave
to him?
Roberts,
Yes,
we'll
it was
do it.
Dave Roberts. All right.
Dumpster Dave Roberts.
I got to tell you one thing, man. You want to play this game live, man. These fans can
People
be
are
ruthless.
going to boo you.
That's right. They're getting
That
ready for
was
the
the
game
pressure
tonight.
right there. I felt like I was
That
on the
was
Price is Right.
pressure.
Yeah, be careful, Rod.
All right, question number 2. What team did Luis Ariz make his Padre debut against this year? This is a tough one.
That is tough.
Everybody's face has got like, huh?
But he got the game-winning hit. I remember that.
Everybody, if you could see me, I got Dodger baseball cards in my hand. But that walk-off was against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I can't believe it, but that is correct.
He got it.
That is correct. Wow. I can't believe it, but you got it, Rod. So here we go. Question number 3.
Rod's going to win?
I think so. Which Padre homered against the Dodgers in Game 3 of the 2022 NLDS, the first postseason game in front of fans at Petco Park in 16 years?
Can you repeat the question? It was a little fuzzy
Sure,
here at Baja
I
Ricks.
will. Which Padre homered against the Dodgers in Game 3 of the 2022 National League Division Series?
Don't give it to him,
Don't
then you
give
won't
it
get a
to him.
chance to play.
That was that New York Yankee. That was he's a Yankee now. That I believe his name was Trent Grisham.
Trent Grisham.
He's going with it.
Is
Trent Grisham.
correct.
Hey, you guys
Wow,
gave it to him.
Rod.
Rod wins it all. Look at him over there.
Sorry to everyone. Rod is a superstar.
You guys shouldn't have given him the answers. Now you can't play.
I
Rod
think
into the
Trent in
game.
his face, everybody. Wow.
It's very strange to see Rod talking and then 5 seconds later hear him.
Yeah, that was really good, Rod.
Rod, stay. I know your information, Rod. You're all good. I'll put you in there.
You're good. You're going to win the tickets to see Sublime with Rome. We had a little round of Chris for the fan. I want to say congratulations. Rod is saying he beat me. He certainly beat me, but I didn't get a chance to play. So that's the way you got to do it, man. You just get all the answers right.
Absolutely.
And then there's no, I don't get involved in the game. So that was a good job by Ron there. He is the winner of Chris versus the fans today.
All right.
Are we going to do a Padres Pen Pals at the bottom of the hour? Is
4:40, yes. I felt like we should do something with everybody driving in. We should do something Padres related. But I did get some interesting questions about Dylan Cease, which we'll talk about at 4:40.
Okay. All right, we'll take a break here. We'll check some traffic. We'll come back, give you a little rundown. I mean, there's nothing else going on that matters. But just in case, you're driving around, you want to get caught up on the sports day. We'll have a little of that. More Padre Dodger talk from Baja Ricks Cantina. And I saw my man Baja Rick just a minute ago. Where'd he go? Baja Rick, stand up, you guys, everybody. Let's hear it for Baja Ricks.
The man, the myth,
He's the guy, man. He's the guy that has us all here today partying. Baja Ricks, Baja Ricks, Baja Ricks. All right.
Ain't going back.
Ain't going back. Yeah, that was our there he is. Ain't going back. All right, more Gwynn and Chris after traffic, everybody. Park, where tonight it'll be Game 3, Padres and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Really a great, nice crowd here today. So many people have come up and said hello. I'd love to repeat everybody's name who's come and said hi.
I'm pretty good with names. We
Like
just met
Sal just came up, but I mean, there's been dozens of people. We appreciate people coming up all day long and saying hi.
Nancy is a Scrabinator.
Coming by to see us. Thank you to everyone who's here. It's a great crowd, and everybody's excited. They got their Padre jerseys on. I'm not sure who let this guy in with the Dodger 42, but he's now being ushered out.
Hey, it's a Jackie Robinson jersey.
It's Jackie Robinson's
so,
okay. We'll put up with that.
That's right.
Couple of quick notes. Some other things going on. We mentioned the Mets are 4-0 over the Phillies in the bottom of the 7th. The Rockies today.
They're playing?
No, of course not. But they are hiring their manager, Bud Black, back for another season. It doesn't matter. They could hire, I don't know who's a great, better manager than Bud Black. I think he's a good one, but as long as they just have an awful organization, it's not going to matter who their manager is.
Let me ask you this.
But I'm always happy for Bud Black.
Of course.
I like when he's working and still in the game. And yeah, he did something very classy this year. The final game with Charlie Blackmon. Did you see that?
No, what happened?
Before the game,
I don't watch many Rocky games.
Yeah, I know. Nobody does. But when they ran out onto the field. I don't think the owner does. No, he doesn't even know. But when they ran out of the field for the game that day, Charlie Blackmon was the only one they let run out there.
Ah, yeah.
He ran out to center field. It was his final game. He got all the adulation of the crowd.
Good.
It was all for him. That was a very class move by Bud Black.
I think that is a class move, and I am just so excited that Charlie Blackmon is no longer going to destroy the Padres.
Yeah, a lot of people
every single time.
A lot of people are happy about that. One of the great pitchers in my childhood, growing up watching him pitch in the World Series, was a Cuban right-hander for the Boston Red Sox named Luis Tiant. Scrappy, if you ever saw him pitch, you would love him too. Tiant used to, and he died today, is why I'm bringing this up. He passed away at the age of 83. But Luis Tiant used to go up on the back leg, and then he would pause, and then he would corkscrew and look at second base. Then he'd come back, then he'd stop again, and then he'd deliver the pitch. He was a showman out there, and he was the number one pitcher for the mid-'70s, 1975 Red Sox, who played the Reds in that great World Series. So I was sorry to see Luis Tiant pass away today at the age of 83. And then there was one other interesting story. I don't know if you heard this, Scraby.
What?
It came up about Walker Buehler today.
I did hear about this.
He's at Santa Anita Racetrack a couple of weeks ago.
A Dodger doing betting things?
Now that's
never happened before.
Oh, stop it. Anyway, this is not a good story, but he's there with his wife, and Jack Flaherty was also there. But thieves surrounded him. I mean, he got mugged.
I mean, this is
They
a
stole his
scary
watch
story.
right off his arm. I mean, that's some scary stuff.
No, that is definitely scary.
Walker Buehler's okay, so
I don't condone that, especially
No.
after what we saw with Ricky Pearsall being shot for his
that's
watch.
a scary thing.
My question is, why are we still wearing $100,000 watches in public?
Probably not the best idea. I would agree with that. Now, the big news in the NFL today, if you haven't heard, the Jets fired Robert Saleh. Salah. After a 2-3 start. The word is with this firing, I mean, number one, the Jets aren't doing very good again. But number two is that he and Aaron Rodgers just have gotten to the point where they absolutely couldn't stand each other.
I don't blame Mr. Saleh.
Well, I don't either. Saleh was critical of Aaron Rodgers for going to Egypt on a vacation when he should have been at mandatory training camp, and he said so. He said, I'm disappointed he's not here. He's the leader of our team. And for saying that, Aaron Rodgers then decided, well, he's thrown me under the bus, so I'm going to hate him.
And
you know what? This should be on Aaron Rodgers. The problem is, Scraby, and you know this, I know this, they can't fire the quarterback. So they fire the coach, and that's what happens.
All these interceptions. I believe it's Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Robert Saleh, got dealt a difficult hand last year with, Rodgers getting hurt. But now that he's got Rodgers, I think people expected them to be a lot better. And I brought this up the other day. The Jets have scored the same number of points through 4 games this year as they did last year when Zach Wilson was their quarterback.
I know that's
so.
I mean, I guess that's an indictment on what Robert Saleh is doing, but it's more of an indictment to me on Aaron Rodgers. And he got the word also is that he was escorted out of the building. Like, I don't think that Robert Saleh was crazy and like flailing his arms and wouldn't leave, but this all stems from Aaron Rodgers. It has to be. That's the only thing I can think of. And Robert Saleh even said last week when they had a bunch of false starts, he said, oh, well, the cadence was a little bit different. And then Aaron Rodgers nope, cadence wasn't different at all. So Aaron Rodgers knows what he's doing.
They hated each other, and when that
the
happens...
owner chose Aaron Rodgers over his coach.
But every owner's going to choose a guy that he's paying $500 million to over the coach. Sorry. Here's the only thing for Robert Saleh. I get it that he and Aaron Rodgers, that didn't work out, but you have to know as a coach, if you can't forge a good relationship with your starting quarterback,
but what if
your days are going to be numbered.
Saleh, from all I've heard throughout his time with the 49ers, throughout his time with the Jets, is he's a good coach. He's a coach that he cares about his players. So I tuned into New York radio this morning just to hear what they were saying.
Right.
And they think the beginning of the end for Robert Saleh this year was when Aaron Rodgers went to Egypt, because
that's what I just said. That's what I said.
But like the ownership is letting Aaron Rodgers slide, and so the people in the locker room, the other players, are like, this dude has no control over Aaron Rodgers. How is he going to have control over other things? And so he kind of lost the locker room that way.
Now,
which is unfortunate for him.
I will say this: as a team that is going to finish probably in last place this year, if the Jets don't, and that's my Dolphins. They could do a lot worse than bringing Robert Saleh in to coach a defense next year. This guy can coach defense. We know that. And I think he's a really good coach, and I think he'll land on his feet. But he may not ever get another head coaching job, because of the fallout from his relationship with Aaron Rodgers. And that's unfortunate, but it works that way sometimes.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I can't stand that Woody Johnson. That's his name, Woody Johnson?
The owner of the Jets.
I can't stand what he's doing. And this is all going to end poorly for the Jets. Like, how is this going to make them better, Chris? Do you think Jeff Ulbrich?
The only way it can get better is if they hire Nathaniel Hackett as coach.
I was surprised he wasn't the interim coach. How does that guy not get fired?
How does he keep getting jobs? Is anybody paying attention to this guy and how bad he is?
Just so bad.
I hate picking on. Well, I do. No, I don't hate picking on Nathaniel Hackett.
You don't?
There's one other NFL note. The New England Patriots today said that they're changing quarterbacks. Jacoby Brissett out.
Wow.
Rookie Drake May in for the Patriots. Hey, you can't lose to the Dolphins this year. They're going to take you out as your quarterback.
I've seen Drake May play a little bit. He doesn't look ready.
Well, they're going to try him. Here's the funny thing to me. If the Patriot tight end the other day puts his foot down in bounds like he should have,
Jacoby Brissett's the starter.
Jacoby Brissett is still the starter because they would have won the game, but the guy stepped out of bounds. It was a terrible play.
Also,
that wasn't Jacoby Brissett's fault.
You have to, as an organization, realize we're probably not headed for the playoffs this year. Let's try not to get our number one pick killed. That's why Jacoby Brissett is here. We're going to allow him to get killed, and then we have Drake May.
Here's one more story. 49ers feeling, quote, a lot of pressure amid 2-3 start. The finger pointing is beginning in San Francisco.
I'm telling you, radio up there has already called for Kyle Shanahan's firing.
Well, that's stupidity.
It is stupidity.
Even I will say that, and I always make fun of Kyle Shanahan.
Like, I don't want Vance Joseph to be the new head coach of the 49ers.
That would be idiotic if you're the 49ers.
The Mets scored again.
5-0?
6-0.
6-0. It's all Metropolitans today. Hopefully it'll be all Padres tonight. Game 3 of the National League Division Series is 90 minutes away. We have one more segment of Padre Pen Pals coming up on Gwynn and Chris. Matt Scraby wrapping things up. Our final segment today from Baja Ricks Cantina right here outside Petco Park. Great crowd. Thanks to everybody who's come down today and joined us here on 97.3 The Fan as we get ready for Game 3 of the National League Division Series. Padres and Dodgers. A couple of quick notes. First of all, Padres are announcing, as they should, a zero tolerance tonight.
Yes.
For anybody who throws anything on the field. So we've
You've been
talked
warned.
about this before, but let the Dodger fans be the ones that do that. Let's not us do that. And let's cheer and go crazy and make life miserable for LA, but let's not do what they did. I'm really hoping that the Padre fans will, not get caught up in that, and you're going to get thrown right out of the game.
Yeah.
And taken to jail. It's kind of like not really even a risk.
You sure?
To do it.
I'm just kidding, Chris.
Yes, I'm sure.
Trust me, as a guy who has once spent a night in jail, it's not the greatest place in the world.
Why you'd even want to think of it, so let's not do that. The other thing is this, Greg.
Yeah, the Padres have just tweeted out, and if you can hear us here, you might want to do this, but Ticketmaster apparently is experiencing technical difficulties, so the Padres are asking you to download your tickets to your mobile wallet before you head to the ballpark. That's it. They're encouraging all fans to download their tickets to their mobile wallet for ease of entry. So if you're trying to get your tickets on Ticketmaster right now and you can't do it, just make sure you try and download them, and you will be able to use them as you enter the stadium.
All right, one more thing. Before Kelly Danick gives us a check of traffic.
Yes.
I bet you there's a lot of traffic in and around Petco Park right now.
Yes.
Let's find out.
From the 97.
All right, Petco Park is buzzing. Baja Ricks Cantina buzzing. Chris here, Scraby there, and Tony, of course, inside getting ready for the broadcast, was with us earlier. I just want to touch on a couple more things, and then we're going to get to our Padre pen pals.
Yes.
Number one, there is actually someplace kind of fun to go tonight if you're totally not coming to Petco Park.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the new basketball arena in Oceanside is opening tonight.
We gave away tickets.
The Clippers are playing. The Nets, I think it is tonight. I know it's a preseason game, but you could see the first sporting event inside the new, Frontline Arena?
Front Wave.
Thank you, Front Wave. Thank you, Hamby. The Front Wave Arena in Oceanside, and I understand the game is a sellout tonight.
Wow, really?
Yeah, to see the Clippers and Brooklyn. So if you're headed up in that direction, have fun with that tonight.
Hey, just one step closer to getting an NBA team.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know that Front Wave Arena is going to... We don't have a place to play. It's the same problem we always have.
Viejas is my answer to everything.
That's not big enough.
I know it's not big enough.
13,000 is not big enough for an NBA franchise.
I know.
Sorry.
I know.
The other thing is, tonight, this is for me, not you or anyone else probably, but it's opening night in the NHL. Just throwing that out there.
What?
All right.
We're back already?
What a reaction we got from the crowd here at Baja. Thank you, Frank. Frank likes his hockey. He knows what I'm talking about.
You know what reminds me of the NHL season? When the NHL season starts, it reminds me that basketball is almost back, and it seems like the NBA just ended like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, they don't have very long off seasons anymore.
They had the Olympics this year.
Well, hopefully the Padres will continue on their quest to make this year's offseason pretty short as well.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Right? That's the idea.
I would love that. We got a rally chain over there. What was that thing called? Was it the rally chain?
No.
It was the rally chain. What was it called?
No,
Why
it
am I-
wasn't called that, but I can't remember what it was called.
Swag chain.
Swag chain.
That's it.
Fernando
I forgot all about the
swag
swag
chain.
chains.
Fernando. All right, let's play. Well, not play, but
I don't think we have the open, so it's not a big deal.
all right, just take it away then. What are we doing?
All right. Usually we do the Big Five at this time, and the Big Five is usually brought to you by Summit Subaru of El Cajon. See all the 2 ways to save right now at summitsubaru.com. Now, the first one is about Dylan Cease, and I got this on Sunday. I love Dylan Cease, but I am not sold on Dylan Cease as an ace for this team right now. Has he been an ace this year for the Padres? At times he has, but Saturday night I was nervous heading into the game. Thank you, Frank. Wondering which Cease we were going to get. We got the not bad Dylan Cease. We got the less than stellar Dylan Cease. Chris, do you guys have full and total faith in Dylan Cease each time he goes out there?
That's a tough question. I mean, I have faith in Dylan Cease for sure every time he goes out there, even when he doesn't pitch well. I mean, unfortunately, pitching well is not a guaranteed thing for anyone. The other guys are trying to hit too. I don't think Dylan Cease had the A-plus command that he normally has, and he walked too many guys. That's what killed him. I know the Ohtani home run is a big blow, but there were 2 guys he put on base before that was what really hurt. So, yeah, I have great confidence in Dylan Cease. He's got amazing stuff, no-hit stuff when he's on. He wasn't on the other night. That's just, a hang with him.
I do understand where this person's coming from because there have been periods of time where Dylan Cease doesn't give up a hit. And there have been, and that's legitimately, he had a no-hitter this year.
And had, 6 starts where he gave up 2 hits total?
But then there's other outings where he gets in trouble early and then things spiral on him.
Yeah.
And there's another dog in a jersey, Chris, over there.
Game over.
Game
Padres
over.
win.
That's right. But I understand why this is being said. I think that Dylan Cease ran into a Shohei Ohtani buzzsaw. There's so much fanfare around that he didn't pitch bad, but he had bad locations, as Mike Shildt said on some of his pitches. So I have faith in Dylan Cease, but I'm not necessarily thinking it's going to be a shutdown outing every single time. But I will take Dylan Cease over other pitchers right now, for sure.
I say at the exact moment I have more confidence in you, Darvish, than Dylan Cease, but that's just at this exact moment.
And that's because of what we saw on Sunday.
Exactly.
All right, the next one. Let's talk about a topic Tony and Chris hate. Who has been the Padres MVP so far in this postseason? I say it's you, Darvish, even though he pitched 1 game. It was a game the Padres absolutely had to have. Who would you choose for the playoff MVP so far? I'm up first.
After 4 games?
This is why they started. Let's talk about a topic Tony and Chris hate.
Yeah, I hate this topic.
I think Fernando Tatis Jr. is the MVP right now because of everything he's done. He's got an OPS over 2.00, as Chris would like me to say.
21 hundo.
21 hundo. He's hitting almost 500. He's got some home runs. He's been amazing. And when someone threw a beer at him the other night in the stands, he just turned around and he did a little dance, which made me happy.
I thought he caught it and drank it.
No. I don't know that Fernando has ever drank a beer in his life.
I thought he was that amazing that he just caught it out of midair.
He probably
and
could.
Finished it.
You know what, Chris? That would be on my list of things to do if I was still a drinker. Catch a beer in midair and drink it. What do you think?
Well, I think Fernando is too, but I'll give you, I'll at least give you, one other guy right now. I think Higashioka's having a great postseason. Don't forget, he's your number 9 hitter.
Oh, Higashioka's a great one.
He gives you a home run every game, and plus he's playing great defense. He's catching these guys, calling a game. So Higashioka could be my runner-up right now. But you got to go Fernando with a 2,100 OPS.
Do you think, because we're seeing it right now, and you just said it, Higashioka hits a home run every game, do you think that he's going to start every game, or do you think we're going to see at some point Elias Diaz?
Well,
we saw him late in the game the other day.
I think you're going to see Higashioka until further notice. I do.
Why not right the hot hand?
You substitute catchers during the regular season because you're trying to keep guys fresh. There's no need to keep Higashioka fresh anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's going to have lots of time to rest here coming up in,
right. Hopefully
in
he's got
November.
another 10, 11 games left or whatever it is. So, yeah, nothing against Diaz, but Higashioka's too valuable right now to take out.
Way too valuable. Just imagine, I mean, if he was still in New York. He was a throw-in to that trade, and he ends up being one of the most important parts of that trade.
I don't think A.J. Preller considered him a throw-in. We considered it a throw-in.
Yeah, because
and that
we're
was
like,
our
who's
mistake.
this guy? And then he becomes a great catcher for the Padres. All right, we've seen Robert Suarez get 2 saves here in the postseason, and the talk has shifted away from him being a liability as the closer. Chris, do you think Robert Suarez is quote-unquote fixed?
Fixed. First, I think he has 1 save because I think the first game he had a 4-run lead. That did not count as a save.
I didn't fact-check this person, but there you go.
Well, I think I don't think he was ever 100% broken. I mean, he was not having great location there for a while. I'm hoping his location is back. But I caution everybody, in these playoffs so far, we've seen Josh Hader blow the series.
Yes.
We have seen Emmanuel Clase yesterday give up a bomb.
Maybe the best
and
closer
lose
of the
a game. We have seen, who else blew something? There was another.
Frank, if you know, pop in.
Yeah, pop in, Frank. It was somebody in the first round. Devin Williams gave up the home run to Pete Alonso.
That's a huge one.
You know, I caution you, man. These closers are great, but these hitters, you groove a fastball, they can hit a home run. So Suarez is no guarantee. That's why when I get a lead, I like to add to it. Because I don't want to leave him with a 1-run thing every time. You know, I want him to have a little room to operate.
Never too many insurance runs.
No,
we've seen that
not
before.
in the postseason. No.
Do I think Robert Suarez is quote unquote fixed? Like you said, I don't think he was broken, but I'm not going to lie. When he came in against the Braves, I was a little nervous, and he ended up doing all right. He ended up, doing what he needs to do, and then he came out and closed down the game not the other night, but you know what I'm saying.
The two Brave games he finished.
Yes.
He hasn't pitched in the Dodgers series
Correct.
yet.
And I feel 100% comfortable with him pitching right now.
I feel comfortable with him, but that kid's a guarantee he's going to get a 1-2-3 inning every time. It's, I hate to say it, it's baseball. The other guys are trying to hit the ball, so.
Are they?
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
the name of the game?
Yeah.
All right, final Padres Pen Pals topic here is this. Do the Padres need to extend Luis Arraez this offseason? I love the dude. He's a savage. I love Luis Arraez too. Arraez. It's not Arraez. It's Arraez. I keep saying the wrong way.
It's like all rise, but it's Arraez.
Good way of remembering it.
There you
Do
go.
they need to extend him this offseason? I mean, he's got 1 more year of arbitration, but I think they do need to extend him. He has proven that he is an important part of this lineup. He has proven that he fits as a San Diego Padre. And to me, he has proven that he wants to be a San Diego Padre. Now, I don't know what the money looks like that for someone like Luis Arraez, and I don't think he makes as much as we may think he would. But I think they need to lock him up this offseason, have no questions going into next year about him being lame duck or anything like that. I love Luis Arraez. He's a gamer, and I hope he's with the Padres for a long time to come. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, it's not my pocketbook. And again, I know the Padres are going to have to play that money game, but I want Luis Arraez on this team. I think he fits perfect here.
Yeah.
In a city that, gave us the greatest singles, line drive hitter maybe in the history of the sport. Luis Arraez can be appreciated, and how much I like him.
Yes.
So
you're a big fan.
Yeah, I hope they re-sign him.
All right.
So
that's it.
Ryan, thanks, Padre Pen Pals. We got about 10 minutes left here, Scraby. The Phillies finally got on the board. They scored 2 runs in the 8th inning. Harper and Castellanos had the RBIs, but it's hardly enough at the moment. Mets still lead Philadelphia 6-2 in the bottom of the 8th inning. The real job here was done by Sean Manaea, the former Padre. All he did today, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, struck out 6. Brilliant performance from Sean Manaea. Where was this? I know.
He started out okay, and then he just really was not great.
He wasn't great for the Padres, but he pitched a great game today for the Phillies. Jesse Winker, Pete Alonso hit home runs. 2 RBIs apiece for Jose Iglesias and Starling Marte. That's the story with the Mets 6-2 batting in the bottom of the 8th inning. Tomorrow, you're going to have a baseball smorgasbord again.
Smorgasbord, yes.
All 4 series will be in action tomorrow. But, we don't have to worry about any of those. Let them get their thing out of the way. Our game 4 is at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm happy that the baseball has kind of assigned the Padres the 6 o'clock night game.
Well, they do love the ratings, and ratings between the Padres and the Dodgers is
That's
pretty good.
what they're getting, yeah.
And maybe Dave Roberts is just trying to bump the ratings a little bit.
You know what? Fox probably slipped him a little envelope.
Couple $100 bills.
Yeah, and said, can you whine and cry as much as possible about Manny Machado throwing a ball at you?
Yeah.
And
his life flashed before his eyes. It was an unsettling quote.
His life flashed before his eyes.
I mean,
he didn't even see it until somebody told him about it.
The word unsettling is where I take fault in this thing. Unsettling means you were legitimately scared. And Mike Shildt said it earlier in his press conference. If Manny Machado wanted to hit Dave Roberts with a baseball, he could easily hit Dave Roberts with a baseball.
Well, Mike Shildt didn't say that fully. He just said, I've been around Manny a long time, and I think he's got a pretty good arm, and it's pretty accurate. That's what he said. Mike Shildt's comments were really good today. And he was put under the gun to, respond to Dave Roberts' claims. That's your manager. He's all of our manager, actually. You can't have him only for yourself. But his comments were really good today. And, to me, he represented his ball club, his city with class, and, spoke to the situation the way it should be spoken. And, as I said earlier, I'm hoping I'm right. But it seems to me that Dave Roberts' focus is on the wrong stuff right now. And I hope the Padres focuses on the right stuff, and I hope it makes a difference in the next 2 games.
It just feels good that we're on this side with the Padres of not falling for those traps. These are
not falling for shenanigans.
These are little things that the Dodgers are trying to do to get under the skin of Manny Machado. Even Dylan Hernandez co-signed on my crazy conspiracy theory that maybe they were trying for a suspension of Manny Machado. That's why they sent it to the league. They sent that video to the league.
You know what I've discovered here, Scraby, with
What?
7 minutes to go in the show?
What?
9 minutes, actually, to go in the show.
That I'm really smart?
No, it's going to take a little longer for that. But what I have discovered with 9 minutes to go in the show is that my voice is not going to make it.
9 minutes? You don't got 9 more minutes?
My voice is giving way.
Oh, my goodness.
I have been screaming into the microphone above this din for 3 straight hours, and it's a good thing that you're not allowed to cheer in the press box tonight, because I don't believe I'm going to be able to cheer. Can you kind of hear it going a little or no?
A little.
Yeah. It's starting to strain, I must say.
I think you're going to make it the next 8 minutes. By the way, I believe
so.
Shohei Ohtani's up in 1 hour and 14 minutes. I'm sure that Fox broke in on the news this morning saying Shohei Ohtani's up tonight.
Today is the
that really bothered me.
Today is the 1-year anniversary, unfortunately, of the war in the Middle East. Oh, wait a minute. Shohei Ohtani is up in 1 hour and 12 minutes.
Everybody crowd around the TV. I mean, I got to say,
now that you're saying it like that, it's making me laugh, so I like that.
Well, we have to laugh, Chris, because that's the only thing we can really do here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just hope that the Padres can take care of these next 2 games so we don't have to worry about a Friday game in L.A. I don't think that the Padres on the road are a much different team than they are at home.
They've been better on the road.
And they've proven that all year
long. They don't
long.
have to shrink from a Game 5. And, I said the same thing, the other day. I'll say it again. I think a lot of us feel like, since the Padres wrapped it up in 4 2 years ago, came here and won 2 straight games, that it's kind of, just going to happen again. And I know that it could, and I hope it does, but the Dodgers are not going to just step aside.
No.
So the Padres are going to have to play 2 really fantastic ball games. Be nice to come up with a couple of key hits. neither team is really doing great with runners in scoring position in this series yet. Padres are 4 for 19. The Dodgers are 4 for 21. But a couple of key hits. I'll take half as many home runs today as we had in Game 2. I want the same defense from Game 2.
Yes.
And I think the rest will take care of itself.
I'll take 7 home runs.
You want a new record tonight?
Yeah, new record.
Yeah.
I mean, what else? Like we said yesterday, this team has done so many incredible things that have never happened before.
7
What's another
home runs,
one?
that's a lot to ask for.
That is a lot to ask for.
At Petco Park against
a lot
in a
to ask
playoff
for.
game. But, it doesn't matter what the score is. Just get it done. King pitches well. Got to be, aggressive and take it to Buehler right away. And I've said it all along. I don't know if this is our time,
It
for
feels like
the month of October, but I feel like it might be.
Yes.
And there's no way to know. The Padres still need, not just 2 games in this series, but they need 2 more series after this. And, it's so tough to win the whole thing, but we've never won it here in San Diego, and I know that, if this team wants it half as bad as we all want it, we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah,
I think they do.
I think they do. I mean, this is like if you want to cement yourself in San Diego sports lore forever and
if you want to never buy another drink at Baja Ricks
or any place
in San Diego,
win a World Series.
Win the World Series.
People were getting uncomfortable with our parade talk yesterday. I got to tell everyone, we do not have any control over the results, even if we talk about the parade. Because I would like to be in a perch somewhere along the parade route.
No, you're going to ride with me. I'm going to drive.
I don't want to.
In my car. You're going to be the passenger waving out the side, and Tony and Jesse are going to be in the back on top.
Doing the Pope wave.
Doing the thing. Yeah, that's what we're going to do for the parade. That's how I'm going to get all of us into the parade.
Oh,
we got to be in the parade. Because can't you see Ben and Woods with their own car decorated? Those guys. They do stuff like that.
Yeah, because they're good
They'll
at
get
it.
it sponsored.
They're good at that
Jeff
stuff.
Hamby will be out there handing out stickers and
we're not
shirts.
good at the planning portion.
Right, we're not good on that.
That might be partially the producer of this show that's not very good at planning
Well, that's
himself.
why I'm telling you what we're going to do if there's a parade.
People ask me all the time, what's the hardest part of your job? And I say, organization. I am not the most organized person on earth. I will fully admit that.
All right, he's not here, so you can say this honestly, and nobody will tell him.
What?
Rate the 3 of us in terms of organization.
Oh.
The 3 of us on this show.
Oh.
Well, a gelato pure water sure would be nice about now.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So nice that you
Appreciate
came by.
that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Gelato pure water. I am thirsty,
I've seen this
actually.
before, and
Just
I'm
making
thirsty.
sure this isn't booze, but it does say water.
No, it is water.
Okay.
I've seen it before.
Okay.
Wait, let's cheer. We're going to get a picture in the
we're going to get a
Gelato
picture
newsletter.
of the
Thank you.
Gelato newsletter. Chris knows what a newsletter is. Anyway, organization.
Who's top? Give me a ranking of the 3 of us in organization.
You.
I know I'm number 1.
By far and away, number 1. I think I'm number 2 just because I have to be.
You just said you're terrible, so I just want you to know where you just put Tony below that.
What do we remind Tony before he leaves studio every time?
To remember his wallet before he goes home.
Do you have your keys? Do you have your cell phone? Do you have your water bottle with your name on it because you've lost it so many times?
I hate to say it's true.
It is true.
Absolutely true.
I don't really know. I mean, Tony's pretty organized in the booth, and he doesn't necessarily have to have a bunch of papers in front of him when we're doing the show.
He would leave his keys in the studio every day if there was not a need for them to start the car. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, only the fact that they're needed to start his car is why he remembers his keys, because otherwise they would just sit there the whole time.
One time when I was doing the Scraby show, I look over and I see his phone. I'm like, everybody, he's going to be back here shortly.
Yeah.
And as he walked back in 3 minutes later, because, yes, he does have a car that he needs a phone to start. Real quick, I want to remind everyone, and then we're going to check our legal identification, but I want to remind everyone, Ticketmaster apparently is having some problems. So if you're heading down here right now and you can't get your ticket, or if you can't get your ticket, make sure you download it to your mobile wallet. It'll make it much easier. There's a lot of people down here, a lot of cell service being used, so it's not as easy as just getting your ticket. So again, if you bought your ticket on Ticketmaster, download it from Ticketmaster into your mobile wallet. All right, Frank, we need to check our legal ID.
All right, Scrape, we got a couple minutes. The Mets have added a run. They take a 7-2 lead to the ninth inning against the Phillies. Phillies coming to bat down by 5 in New York. Mets hoping to go up 2-1. Same thing for the Padres tonight if they can beat the Dodgers. But you got to go out and get the job done. Got to go out and play a tremendous game. And I think the atmosphere is going to be worth it.
I can't even imagine, because the Braves, it was loud. The last time with the Dodgers,
2 years ago,
super
it was
loud.
awesome.
I don't even know what it's going to feel like. Like, the stadium actually shakes. It's so crazy. And there's nothing like a good crowd roar, Chris. I love it.
Well,
good thing we got to the music.
We got to thank Frank Marchese back there in studio.
Thank you, Frank.
Frank, appreciate you. Adam Klug, thanks for everything. Tony up in the booth there. Thank you to everybody here. I know everyone's getting involved and getting ready for the game, but we had a really good crowd out here at Baja Ricks.
Thank you for coming out.
Thanks, everybody, for coming out.
Are we ready for this game or what? There we go.
Yeah, we've asked them like 60 times today,
Yeah,
so they're getting
eating
tired.
too. I see some people with nachos. And so.
All right, we're headed into the ballpark. Enjoy the game tonight. We're back to talk about it tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Gwynn and Chris, Sam Levitt's pregame show is next on 97.3 The Fan.
Crack of the bat.